Mayor Smith,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Stelter.
He's in the waiting room.
Oh,
Who's here? Trustee Check,
Here.
Trustee Heck,
trustee Heck, are you here?
Trustee Hunter is Trustee Medrod here, and Trustee Turnout.
Here.
Have a quorum.
Hey, thank you. I need to make a change to our. Here's the issue. On the consent agenda, the agenda packet contains 2 meeting minutes. One of which is on the agenda, March 24th, but the second set of meeting minutes, March 30th, are not on the agenda. So I'd like to ask to remove those from the consent agenda because they were not agendized, and we'll bring them to the next meeting. So if somebody could make a motion asking to remove the March 30th meeting minutes from the consent agenda.
I move that we remove the March 30th meeting minutes from the consent agenda.
Thank you. We have a second?
I second that.
Okay, was that Rick?
Yes.
Oh, that's so clear. Okay, we have multiple seconds. Whoever got on first, go for it. All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. For announcements, we have a proclamation tonight. And this was asked of us. We didn't do the pledge. I am so sorry. I knew something felt weird. Okay, we got it. My apologies. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. That's what happens when you have a meeting before the meeting. Sorry. All right. Yeah. Well, so April is National Donate Life Month, and we were asked by the Jesse Rochelle with the Chris Klug Foundation to read and accept this proclamation for the month of April. And Rochelle, Jesse is on Zoom. And Jesse, I'll ask you to just say a few words after I'm done with the proclamation, if that works for you. Okay, thank you. Whereas this April 2026 marks the 23rd National Donate Life Month, a time to raise awareness of organ, eye, and tissue donation, encourage Americans to register as donors, and honor those who have saved and healed lives through the gift of donating. And whereas Colorado has been a leader in the nation with nearly 900,000 Coloradoans registering to be organ, eye, and tissue donors at the Department of Motor Vehicles. And whereas Donor Alliance, along with their Colorado State Team community partner, the Chris Klug Foundation, educate residents in Colorado and Wyoming on the life-saving benefits of organ and tissue donation, inspire them to register as donors, and encourage them to share their decision with their family. And whereas one donor can save up to 8 lives through organ donation, restore sight in up to 2 people through cornea transplants, and save and heal more than 75 lives through tissue donation. And whereas in Colorado and most of Wyoming in 2025, a record 314 heroic organ donors provided 1,046 life-saving transplants, and 1,880 heroic tissue donors saved and healed more than 140,000 lives with tissue grafts. And whereas registering gives hope to more than 1,400 people in Colorado and Wyoming waiting for a life-saving organ transplant, passionately celebrating donors and their families for the gift of life. And whereas organ, eye, and tissue donation would not be possible without our community coming together for one united purpose. Saying yes to being an organ, eye, and tissue donor means you are not just checking a box, you are saving and healing lives. Now, therefore, I, Paige Smith, Mayor of the town of Paonia, Colorado, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2026 as National Donate Life Month. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Paonia, Colorado to be affixed this 14th day of April, 2026. So, Jesse, thank you so much for that proclamation, and I'll turn it over to you if you'd like to speak to us and the folks in the room and on Zoom. Go ahead.
I'd love to. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, great. I just wanted to say a quick thank you for doing this proclamation. And I'm sorry I'm not there in person. The weather had me a little nervous making the drive over from Carbondale. So I appreciate you guys letting me join via Zoom. We're a small nonprofit based out of Aspen, but we do work statewide and nationally to educate people about organ donation. And so any opportunity to get in front of different audiences around the state is just, we're so grateful for the time and for your efforts for passing this or for making this proclamation. My connection to donation and transplantation is through my father. He's a heart transplant recipient who celebrated 10 years in August. So I think that shows that this work is very important to me and means a lot. I like to remind people any chance I get how important of a decision it is. We realize at the foundation how deeply personal it is. So we want to make sure people are educated and have the facts. And then to remind people who do register how important it is to share the decision with your family and have them share their decision with you. And then the other thing I like to remind people about are all the things you can do while you're still living. You can donate blood regularly. You can join the bone marrow and blood stem cell registry, and you can do living donation, or at least look into it. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you guys' time.
And thank you very much for being here to give us more information on what is a really important thing. Thank you very much. And I'm glad you didn't drive. And I hope there's moisture up there. And there was
I was really looking forward to coming over. I do love Paonia, but
Yeah.
I'll save it for another time.
All right, come on over. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And this is our part of the agenda where we ask anyone in the audience or on Zoom if they would like to speak on any topic that is not on the agenda tonight. This is the time to do it. And if you're interested in doing so, just raise your hand. I'll recognize you. Come on up to the podium. Give us your name and whether you live in town or out of town, and sign the sign-in sheet just so we know how to spell your name. And we have a timer for 3 minutes. So with that, I open it up to public comment. Who's first? Really? Okay. Oh, there's a hand, please. Oh, come on up. And then I will, please let me know, Ruben, if there's anybody. I don't see a hand up online,
I
but
don't see anybody yet.
okay.
My name is Short. At the last short-term rental meeting, I made a comment. One of the committee members got defensive. I understood, so I went back and did some more homework. The homework that I did related to the number of rentals that are available within the town limits, which is what we have been talking about the last few months. Permission to approach? Sure. What I'm passing out here is a study that I did at Airbnb. The parameters that I put in that you asked for dealt with the entire month. The information that you gave me. And it is within the entire year from now until next year, 2027. There's only one time that the number has exceeded 28 houses available, short-term houses available. And that's during the highlight season of the festivals. The festivals are typically 5 festivals in Paonia. They're art-centric for the most part. The rest of the year, the number goes from 11 to 19. So there's a very short window in there, and there's only 1 month in there that the number went to 29. There's a 24, 27. My opinion is that the committee that you guys appointed that was supposed to review the regulations is not doing their job. This took me an hour. I sat down today It took me an hour. We've hired a very expensive facilitator, $200 an hour, to do what the committee was supposed to do. This is my opinion. I think that any of the proposals that have come up are overreaching. You're looking at a bunch of people who are renting a room in their house to help pay for taxes. A point that I raised previously was who's going to do the enforcement? And I think that's a very serious issue. And I think it needs to be addressed. And I think that you're shutting out common people. And I think that something needs, the committee needs to do its job. Act like adults. You don't need a facilitator. The information's here and it's free. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else in the room or is just walking in? This is your opportunity to speak on anything not on the agenda for 3 minutes. And there are chairs up front. Please help yourselves or grab a chair and add one to the aisle if you don't want to sit up front. But feel free to come in and get comfortable. So no one in the audience wants to speak for 3 minutes? Gone in the audience? And nobody online? Correct. Okay. We will move on to the next part of this agenda, which is the consent agenda, which includes the meeting minutes from March 24th, a license renewal for Fiona's Bartique and Berg Harvest and our disbursements. And do the trustees have any questions, comments, anything that is in the consent agenda that we need to talk about? Seeing none. And trustee Stelter, are you good? He's there, right?
Did you hear me?
No, we did not.
Yes, I'm fine with the consent agenda.
All right, thank you. So with that in mind, if somebody would make a motion to accept the consent agenda and with the absence of the March 30th special meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the absence of the March 28th meeting.
30th.
March 30th, please.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
very good. Thank you. So we'll move on to staff reports and we'll start with Administrator Wynn.
Okay, this is a kind of a carryover from our last month's report. I did add some details for our water tank relining project, data on all of our federally funded projects, and then an update on our Ellen Hanson Smith Community Teen Center. We had a workshop just before this meeting about it. I did want to show that this afternoon, we also received notice from the Government Finance Officers Association that our fiscal year 2026 budget won the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for the second year in a row. So I mean, it shows that we're budgeting appropriately. The first item that I want to talk about is our 2 million gallon finished water storage tank relining project. This is something that has been going on since late last year. The contractors left at the early part of this winter. They had a project in Florida that they went to, and then they've come back. They're almost done. There's things that they still have to get accomplished as far as like relining the floor or the bottom of that water tank. They got 60% of it done, and then they had some equipment errors that they have to fix. But as of right now, it looks like this project is getting ready to wrap up. Our engineering, our construction inspection engineering firm is no longer on site, but they're not doing any work right now. They're planning to come back to finish some things, and we're going to do a final inspection. One of the things that you see come up a lot in my report is what's called holiday testing. And that's where the liner is made up of, like, it's 3 parts. There's a zinc coating, and then there's a primer, and then an actual liner that goes over it, which is, it's all rolled or sprayed on like a paint. What this holiday testing does is they they put moisture on the area and they take like an electro reader and they run it over. And anytime that thing buzzes or lights up, that's going to be a weak spot in the liner. And that's marked as a place that needs to be gone over again with more liner. But that holiday testing has been ongoing and, you know, they're down to the floor. Disinfection is going to be is something that we're concerned about as town staff. And we did ask for a contractor MPC to send us a submittal so that we could look at their process, review it with our engineers and approve that process. I don't think Nikki's not here. I know she's online, but I don't think we've received that process yet. Or if we have, I don't believe it's been approved yet by our engineers. We're almost done. The good news is that even though we've had some change orders with our engineering from the construction inspection engineering firm, we're still under budget from the estimated cost of construction that our main engineer put out, our water engineer SGM. So we're still under budget. We haven't reached our final deadline yet. So we're still within schedule. However, our contractor hasn't met their obligation for substantial completion. Substantial completion was on March 24th. They haven't met that because substantial completion means we've disinfected the tank and it's being filled with water and being put back into service. They haven't met that. So as our contract says, every day from March 24th, we are hitting them with $750 in liquidated damages. As of last Friday, I think that's $12,750 that we're dinging them for. So at this stage, we're approximately 90% complete with this tank project. And again, it is still, even with our cost escalations, the change orders, we are still under that original estimated construction cost, and we're still within schedule. The issue that we've run into with our contractor is they've had a week's worth of work for 3 weeks. And so we're trying to get them pinned down on just getting it done. They're so very close. And we want it done and we want it done right. An update on our federally funded projects. So we have kicked off our Safe Streets for All project. That's where we're taking all of our sidewalks and prioritizing safety improvements so we know where to begin and design so we can chunk things up and start putting them into our capital improvement plan. We've had that kickoff, what we called, I think it was a CSAP meeting, which is a safety plan meeting. And then we have some follow-up meetings over the next several weeks to meet with our contractor, Consular Engineering, to help put those projects in place and get things designed. We're working on our Water Smart Phase 2, the hydrogeological study. That we're under contract with Right Water, and I've done all of our quarterly reporting for Safe Streets for All with Federal Highway, and then Water Smart with the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. Those are the granting agencies. So those quarterly reports are done, but we've started our hydro study. We're under contract with Right Water. They're starting to work on their deliverables. The news that we got a couple of weeks ago was that our second Water Smart grant for an actual project, which is meter replacement at Lee's Park, water main replacements, service line replacements, and then the construction or the installation of new fire hydrants that are in an area where it doesn't have fire hydrants. That was funded for $116,000 with USBR. There are pieces that the town is responsible for, like the fire hydrants and the water mains, but the rest of everything else is funded through that USBR grant. That includes 23, which was radio read meters. We're moving to cellular read meters because our radio read technology is sunsetting. It's going to be no longer supported by our meter reading company. So we're moving into that cellular read meters.
Can you explain what is going on at Lee's Park that we have to do this?
Yeah, so it is pretty difficult to get some of our meter reads out. The water meters, most of them are underneath those homes. including their service lines. And so it makes it difficult for us to, read meters, get accurate reads. We have gotten some of them to start working again. But again, that technology is old, those batteries go dead, and we've got to replace them. So
And if the water pipe breaks under there,
yeah, if service lines break, there could be a mess. That, we've run into those issues before. And we have our workshop just before this meeting for the Allen Hanson Smith Community Center. We've been working on getting it back open. Our target date is June 1st. We had the Red Feather Bowman, some of the Paonia Youth Center in here at that meeting. What used to be that committee, they're working on some things, but tonight you're going to hear about a request for electrical work, so we can get that done. You learned at the workshop that plumbing work that needed to be done so we could get, past the state inspection was completed and signed off today. So that plumbing work is done, it's completed. The roof has been repaired, and we've still got some work left to do with some contractor stuff. So replacing mechanical room doors, fixing some of the ceiling areas, and adding panic bars so people can get out if there's them. We had a pretty good discussion earlier in the workshop about kind of where we want to start moving to, how that operation works. And I think we're getting ready to schedule another meeting. Again, you saw that there's an estimated total cost. In the workshop, I gave a range that could be anywhere from just under 12,000 to in excess of 33,500 for repair work at the center. And that's due in large part to how different electricians bid projects or the project to bring things back. I've started this with last month by giving department head staff meetings. We have them every 2 weeks. And I give a synopsis of what we've discussed. Some of the things that we're talking about are ongoing, operational improvements and internal coordination among a lot of our departments. And that's a summary. So all of these are publicly available on the website, and probably after this meeting, this will be updated on the website as well.
you put it on your administrator,
That's correct.
great, administrator section on the website.
And that is it for my report.
So you have quite a bit of financial information here. And I didn't know if trustees had any questions about the budget to actuals that you provided.
My budget to actual as well.
No questions at this time.
I do want to point out that the total last month was 6,428,514.55. And this month's, as of I think that was April 1st, it was 6,523,180 cents.
And that is the cumulative money in College Trust and United Business Bank.
So in our investment accounts
Yeah.
and everything.
And for operating expenses and fund balance. Okay. All right, so and no questions on, hey, what if we could, Officer Henderson, are you here to give us the police?
No.
If you would.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sergeant.
Oh, Sergeant, I am so sorry.
I can't follow all those numbers with ours, but we did qualify for $8,000 grant from EMEA for new radios to help replace our archaic radios that we got going here. Technician Katzer up front was the one that helped us through that. DMEA, helping support the law enforcement's a big deal. $8,000 will get us probably 4 radios. I mean, that's a good thing because our radios don't always work. And up here where we're out in the middle of nowhere, it's kind of tough to get help when we can't use a radio. Officer Bardisona, who is one of our night shift officers. Sorry if you've met him. Did something. But Brad has I put him in for an award for it's called MAD, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving. His enforcement alone last year yielded about 17 DUIs here in our small town. Which is obviously an issue that we need to address. But he actually is gonna get the award, and he's being given that award at the Invesco Field in Mile High in May. So that's a really big deal. I recently just came back from TASER instructor recertification. There's new rules and regulations on how we are gonna be going through TASER classes. It's a full 8-hour class that I offer our license number to carry the new TASER 10. Which is different, it's a new upgraded platform. And we're gonna have full implementation of that probably June 1st. And we currently helped out with the No Kings rally. Which was, I believe, a couple weekends ago. It sounds like we got about 300 or 400 people, and it sounds like that went off really, really well. And very glad to support everybody. And I have had no other issues that were reported to me, so. Be kind. And I'm here, so.
Thank you. Trustees have questions for Sergeant Henderson? Okay. And,
I missed Ashley's update.
oh,
So
did we, oh, I scrolled past it. Okay, we're gonna go back to Ashley. So, yes, please go ahead, Ashley. I'm so sorry.
So I kind of updated my memo from last time with the entries that were entered in the contest. So we got 5 participants, surveys open now until Friday at 4 p.m. So we're continuously following those results, and the top 3 contestants with their 2 designs will each win $500. Then have their banners be printed with that are on it. On the next page. I'm still working with Ira for the parking lot signs, so we'll get 3 signs fabricated. On the top corner is that I sculpted from the signs with the arrow, so those will be all molded and casted by him. And put on that top portion with the P for the parking lot sign. And then for the signs coming into town, I'm still working with artists. I'm hoping that they will get back to me some estimates on how much it'll cost to do the signs.
Are they just gonna refresh the signs or will they be new signs?
The new signs.
Oh, okay.
So, the North Fork Valley Brand Coalition kind of wanted to keep the same aesthetic, but make them cohesive and updated. More kind of like things that represent the town. So that's the direction we're going, and just waiting to get back to the artists.
I do want to draw, so that parking P in the arrow is Ashley created that, and so that's going to Ira, so he can make a mold and then make it into metal, but the detail in it is pretty incredible, so.
Very well.
Yeah, he picked it up yesterday.
Oh, we did. Good, good. Very well done. All right. So with that, was Nikki gonna do the Public Works report? Or are you?
She's
am
on.
Oh, you're there. Great. Thank you, Nikki.
Yeah, no worries. All right. So sorry I'm not there. I'm sick today. But we will kick off with water. I won't repeat the 2 million gallon update. But there you see a picture of the door was welded back on, and that was x-rayed and is good to go. With the water department, we had a couple breaks in the month of March. This was out in a field on our water main as well. I'm glad it was a nice day. We were able to get out there without making too big of a mess, but that's a picture of what the clamp looked like and what our water main is looking like. We also, wastewater, we went ahead and spruced up out there as well, making sure all the roadways are clear. Derek was able to use our 6-way blade, which is just like a fancy snowplow, but he was able to do a good job and get that smoothed out for us. Streets has really been kicking off lately. Our busy season has started. So we are working on tree trimming. And in case anybody doesn't know, we do have a municipal code for tree trimming and heights that they need to be. In the street needs to be at least 13, if not 14 feet high, so that large trucks don't get hit by branches. Things like UPS trucks, our trash truck, FedEx, things of that sort. And then the sidewalk needs to be cleared back to your property line, like any bushes that are coming through or any trees hanging down need to be at least 8 feet, so it doesn't hit anybody in the face. So we're working on that. Also with streets, good news, the Stewart Ditch project is complete. Public Works will be responsible for putting a top coat over that stretch of road that was cut out. We are kind of waiting to get some more compaction in there with traffic, and then we will work towards a coating on that. We're looking at concrete. So, but that is done. The ditch is on. It seems to be going well. I have not heard any complaints from the ditch company, so seems to be going well there. The Twin Lakes banner is up. It is painted. It is ready for banners when we come up with designs that are ready to go up there. We also, in next month's report, but we finally got the dumpsters, so we will start that as well. But the banner holder is up and ready to be, hold the banners. So for parks, we have started training our new parks person. Season is kicking off, so they are getting ready to learn the water system, where the sprinkler heads are, how to mow, where to dump, things of that sort. Along with parks, we're coming out of slow season. We do a little bit of the beautification in Lee's Park. All of those T-posts mark a sprinkler head and also just the side of the road. They were all different colors and kind of tipped over, and the reflectors weren't working. They had been falling off. So we repainted all of them, straightened them back out, and we will have new reflectors on those hopefully by the end of the week. If you scroll down a little bit, I wanted to point this out. This is along Minnesota Creek at Apple Valley Park. It is across the creek from the park side, kind of behind the tennis courts. This large tree has been underwashed for a very long time. It is a danger as well. We have noticed kids playing under there. We really don't want people under there, so we have taped that off with caution tape. So we are just advising the town and children, please do not play under that. The creek is running pretty good for now, and it's a highly dangerous area to be in. We're working on trying to get that remedied. Trash, all of the trash cans have been distributed, and they are we're working with getting people the correct service that they want, depending on if it's large cans or small cans. So that has been going really well. We took a large load to Reclametal last month. We were able to recycle quite a bit of just scrap metal, as well as some really old decrepit dumpsters that we had out at wastewater. So we were able to get all of those recycled and receive a little bit of money for that. So that's all I got. Any
Good.
questions?
Your folks? Okay, and trustee Stelter, you're good?
I am.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, we'll move on to actions and presentations, and our first one is review and discussion of a draft ordinance for regulation of security cameras. So I'd like to turn it over to trustee Mejorado, just to give a little background on what you and trustee Hunter worked on.
So trustee Hunter and myself actually reviewed a lot of information about Ricotta and its AI technology and a bunch of other things here and there. And we came up with this whole ordinance that's not in effect, it's just a draft. But I think we got straight to the point of how it should work. But we do want some insight on lots of sections in there. So, I mean, I'm open up to any discussion about it.
All right. And then the other thing I thought would be helpful is we have a handout that was a memo put together by our administrator who did some research based on some questions that had come up about the cameras. So Stephanie, can I ask you just to go through it kind of quickly? And then we will add it. We will put both of these documents. I think your 414 Paonia memorandum is a good one. We will add those to the agenda packet.
Okay, so this is in response to a core request that was completed for audit logs, system documentation, and then administrative verification. And, I went through and took a look at there was like 32,000 lines in an audit log. And I wanted to make sure that there wasn't any sort of impropriety or something wrong that a staff member has done. But I took a look at this, this core request, and I went through point by point. I even put some screenshots together of like what the knowledge base looks like, and then from Verkada, and then also a screenshot of what the organization, like the town organization's settings are set to. And I think it's important to note that the core request that that was fulfilled had dates and times of system access, types of actions performed, such as live viewing, exporting footage, and system checks, camera locations or zones involved, and user roles and classifications. There were things that were redacted, but those were like MAC addresses, IP addresses, device serial numbers, things like that were redacted from, and that was really to protect the system. There was, I wanted to go through, there was some claims that were made based on that core request, and I wanted to go through and see if there was substantiated claims or where things were maybe unsubstantiated or needed additional context. For one, there was something called people detection. That is a default functionality of Verkada's system that registers if there is and that's out of the box, and that's if a person is present in the camera's field of view, it marks it as a person. That doesn't mean that it recognizes that specific individual. The people analytics and face detection, those were configurable features that include like face detection, those facial recognition features. They weren't turned on. And on another page, I'll show you those screenshots from that from the system. And again, this is all based on what I've reviewed. I interviewed some of our staff members to find out, what had happened, what was going on, what they're used for. But I do think, and I do leave this with saying, it absolutely makes sense to have an ordinance and a policy in place on how these govern, and maybe that was something that should have been in place to begin with. But I do want to go over some of that. So this is the screenshots. This top picture is Verkada's knowledge base. So those aren't actual pictures of people from our camera, from the town's cameras. These are pictures that were in the knowledge base. I had to go in to see how to even look up feature managers. And so I was able to find that second page, or that second picture is what the organization settings are. And people analytics, people history is disabled, person attributes is disabled, face detection is disabled, and person of interest alerts are disabled. Those are all features that when I logged into the system were already disabled. And I'm pretty sure there's an audit log that'll show the last time it was accessed was today. And that, that's what it looked like. There were no changes. There were claims made that there was facial recognition enabled. I didn't find that. So it's my belief that there's no evidence indicating facial recognition had been activated or used by the town. Again, this is all based on what I was able to review today. I did look at the audit logs. There were 2 isolated audit log entries out of 32,339 separate log entries, referencing a person of interest ID. But they appeared, it's my belief that they appeared to coincide with our system installation on October 23rd and then again on October 25th. And I don't think that demonstrates ongoing or operational use. There was another claim about cameras are viewed approximately 200 times per day. I think there was some context that's needed. We do have some staff members that log in and take a look at our water plant, our wastewater plant, and then the community room. And every time that you log into the system, you don't get a choice of which camera, shows. It goes to a dashboard that has every camera, and in some instances, like cameras in the parking lot show like 3 cameras in one. And so those will log as separate instances every time that you open one up. That includes anytime you refresh the page. And so that shows up in an audit log. That one employee, there's another claim, one employee accounts for more than half of all activity. Again, there's a staff member that goes in for records management, compliance, facility oversight. This camera here was accessed so that when for meeting minutes, to go through and hear what was actually said in a meeting to make sure that they're captured in minutes. It's also used to make sure that the cleaning crew comes in on the weekend to do their deep cleaning is on Sunday. And then also for when this community room is rented or leased out, make sure that there's compliance, things are cleaned up after it's done, after that event's done. Claim 4, the most viewed cameras, the community room, I just went over that. And then claim 5, cameras are used to actively surveil town staff and create a hostile work environment. I reviewed the cameras, and while there were some videos that were archived, they were about specific incidents that appear consistent with emails that I've received that talk about incidents that have happened up at the front desk or things that have happened that they feel need to be recorded and archived. Again, as I said earlier, it absolutely makes sense that there's a policy in place. And that's what is on the agenda for discussion. I think Trustee Majorado made it clear that it's not for adoption tonight. It's meant for feedback and to hear from, what everybody has to say.
Okay, so I want to give the trustees a chance to ask Stefan about what he has handed out, and Trustee Majorado, any other comments kind of initially, and then we'll open it up to public comment because I have a feeling that's why everyone's here. So we will do that, but are there any comments you'd like to bring up at this point before?
2 questions answered.
Yeah.
Mine.
Oh, your questions were answered? Okay, well, what were they?
One is about the what was being archived, deletion.
Oh, okay, can you speak up just a little bit? I'm having trouble hearing the back.
Yeah, it was about the what was being archived, and the other one was about location
Okay.
of who gets to look at it. One concern that somebody out there brought up was they don't want the town workers to look at the film. It should be, they want police be the only ones to go over which sounded reasonable. That part.
Okay, well, that can be part of the discussion. Yeah.
So in the draft on one of the sections that is brought up in section 5 on B and C.
Sure.
That is something that we want to work on. But it's a question of who is that person? The police department was the main point of contact and the person to look at those cameras in our suggested area. However, that's going to be something that's going to be brought up in that ordinance to set.
Yeah.
But I just want to make that clear, so.
So are you saying that the police, there are certain cameras that the police should have specifically, as opposed to, our water operators need to look at cameras at the water plant and the sewer plant?
Correct.
So,
But however, those security cameras are for security. Security falls under the police department. So if someone else has to look into those cameras, they should contact our chief of police, go to the cameras, then be.
you would withhold clapping? Can we just keep it decorum, please? Thank you.
But that's what we want to suggest.
Yeah, well, it'd be good, we'll get staff input
Right.
on that, because I believe that they use the cameras and if there's water in the water plant.
Right.
There are things they need to see immediately and see if they need to go fix it. So anyway, so those are my thoughts. That Those cameras are there very much for asset protection and for the protection of ensuring that those the infrastructure is working. So I thought that would be a little cumbersome, in my opinion. And trustee Turner.
Were we, are we going to go to public comment and then talk about the proposed ordinance or vice versa?
I was thinking, let's talk about some of the parts of the ordinance, and then I know that the people here would really like to speak. So I want to let them have a flavor for how the trustees might be thinking about some of these parts, and then we'll open it up to public comment, which is always informative for further discussion. So so trustee Turner, was there anything in here that jumped out at you that you might like to bring up that we know we want to talk about?
Not in the administrator's memo, but as we go through the proposed ordinance, I do have some thoughts and questions.
Okay, you want to ask a couple of them right now?
Yeah.
If you're ready.
To pull back up. Yeah, and well, one just overarching question I had was what opportunities, what abilities does Verkada have to review or share or do analytics on the videos on the recordings that are made? I think I saw somewhere that it's only authorized users, which are townspeople that have access to that. Is that true? And there's a firewall for Verkada to have no access without other, given permission from us, or no ability to share?
I don't know.
I found an answer for that. So if we enable some of the features, Verkada isn't able to look into anything. The LPRs, which is the license plate recognition, I don't know if that was enabled or disabled, but that can be removed. There's a bunch of features that can be removed. Even if we want data removed from their servers, we have to delete it, but they have to ask for a written statement from us saying that we can remove data so they don't collect it.
You're talking in a bigger sense, individual data. You're asking, does Verkada have access to the same 30-day rolling storage? And whereas you're saying, you're talking about features. And at this point, there is no license plate feature here because.
Right, if we don't have it, we don't have it. Right. As far as the facial recognition, the people analytics, if those are turned off, they're not able to do anything. If they are.
But wait, Verkada, right now, we don't have any of that is not being used.
Right.
None of it's turned
So
on.
it's not being used and they don't have access to our system right now.
So they don't, if we don't have facial recognition turned on, then that function is not being recorded.
Correct.
Right.
So therefore, nobody has.
They're being
There
stored.
is no data there.
They're being stored on our end, not on their end.
But there is no facial recognition being stored.
Right.
So I just want to make that clear. None of these cameras have facial recognition. It is absolutely not going on, and that's what was in the administrator's report, that it's all disabled. That was not part of the contract. It's not being done. And your question is, so the town has a 30-day rolling recording. And I might look to Sergeant Henderson for some answers too, because I know you're one of the people who has access. But Verkada doesn't have, can Verkada go in and look at anything within that 30-day that's saved? That's the question, right? Is that your question?
It is, and it may not be able to answer it thoroughly tonight, but I do think that's clearly a concern. So I think it would be good to get some clear answers on that at some point. I do have some other questions, but as you know, we like to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go around and then yep. So trustee Check, anything you wanted to bring up at this point without?
Well, no, the point you just made about Public Works having access to certain cameras for facilities that they're responsible for in case of malfunction. So the water plant or wastewater plant,
Yeah.
it seems to me that they shouldn't have to go through the police department for that. Because it's not really a security issue as much as maintenance and troubleshooting. If they get an alarm or something's going wrong, they can check the camera to see if there's something visual that they could detect that way. So I think there has to be exceptions to that. The police only having access.
Makes sense.
Trustee Stelter, did you have some initial comments you wanted to bring up?
No comment.
Okay. Trustee Torno, why don't you give us your next one?
This is just a comment under section 4, authorized purposes. I won't go through them all, but I think, you know, some of the uses that were discussed in the administrator's letter, such as, you know, developing minutes, you know, viewing infrastructure, you know, the water treatment plant. I don't know that those things are always covered in here. So those, I think that section is going to need a lot more thought. I think it's a good portion of this is to be clear about what we can and cannot do. I guess section, I'll just try to hit bigger one. Section 6 is basically that we need, if we're going to have any more cameras, we need to do a privacy impact assessment ahead of time. But subsection D talks about those cameras in place at this point in time and establishes a 90-day period to develop that PIA to bring it to the board. I guess just clarification on that is that, you know, going to be a process where there's opportunity for public review and comment for board adoption and that kind of thing. And what happens if that's, you know, is there a different kind of timeline on that? So we don't need to go into the discussions right now.
Right, and once again, this is just a draft of the ordinance, so
Yeah.
things can be discussed at any moment.
All right, so with that, if I could get a show of hands of who would like to speak, just so we can do it in an organized fashion, and you can change your mind later if you didn't put your hand up. But I'd like to do what we did for another public meeting, and which is, I'm just gonna go down the rows rather than try to just do by hand. So put your hand down for now, and then hang on to it. Hang on to your hand. So I'm gonna go in this first row on the right. If any of the three of you would you like to speak? Come on up. And what I'm gonna do is go down each row, and then I'll go to the back of this other side. And whoever would like to speak can just come up. I just was gauging how many people wanted to speak before instead of going you and you. So we'll go organized. Okay, please come on up. And you have 3 minutes. Just give us your name and whether you live in town or out of town, and you'll sign the book so we know how your name is spelled. Thank you.
Mayor, I
Yes.
think the first buzzer they'll hear, they have 45 more seconds.
Yes,
And then also they're supposed to speak to you.
yes, and if you'll speak to me and, you know, not just gonna speak to me. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor. Hi, my name is Laura Carroll. I'm an in-town resident. I live on the corner of Second Lane. First of all, I sit in humble gratitude to your team who took the time to craft something so thoughtful on such short notice. When it became apparently clear that there was a concern in this community about what was going on with this cameras, nobody blinked, nobody hesitated. You guys stepped up to the plate and decided to start taking swings at this. So I thank you. Thank you so much for creating a framework that we can use to move forward that will have the things that the community agrees upon. And I think we're getting there, right? So I have it in front of me and I just kind of made notes as I went, and I'll just keep going till the timer goes off on me. I'm starting on the recitals page on the fourth whereas the Federal Trade Commission is taking enforcement action against Verkada Inc. relating to data security and access control failures. I appreciate that we are acknowledging that. However, I didn't see anywhere that we are doing to address that particular situation, that we are currently doing business with an organization that I do not feel comfortable with in our community. So as we move forward with this document, I want to make sure that we find a way to address what are we going to do about Verkada, their bad behavior, and is that an organization that we want to do business with going forward, because that they are not community centric in the way that Paonia operates. And then I'm on to section 5, the mandatory use policy. I was pretty excited to hear all of that. I am excited to see that tighten up as we go, right? I think that's very important. The use policy shall address as a minimum the following objects. I noticed here that we had a complete inventory of all surveillance cameras operated by the town, including their locations, field of view, and authorized purpose. I did see that part of that came out in that Cora report. There were a couple of cameras in that Cora report that just said other. And I think that we as a community deserve to know what those other cameras are. I think that's a completely reasonable request. On the following page, this would be say page 4, the second bullet point, prohibitions on the use of footage for facial recognition, like behavior aggregation or behavioral analytics, etc. Very excited that we are, thank you for bringing that up. We are not a community that needs to be taking pictures of ourselves. I will finish real quick with the last bit of time. The 90-day period where a report from the town feels acceptably long for the cameras that are already in place. If we already know where they are and we already know what they're recording, this should be something that should be done in 30 to 45 days to the maximum. I appreciate so much that you guys took the time to hear that there were concerns in this community, and I look forward to working with you guys on this in the future. Thank you. I yield my last 10 seconds.
Please don't clap. It's really hard for people to hear, and our speakers aren't so good, and I just like to keep a level of decorum, and you can go out in the hall anyway, if you would, withhold doing that. Okay, and I'm going to the next row, and how many hands? I see Jalen. Okay, Jalen, do I have that correct? Yes, okay.
Jaylene Park is outside of town.
Pronunciation, sorry.
It's okay. Anyway, just a question. I just have this feeling that we have maybe town staff that's enamored with technology. Technology is great, but I don't know that we need it to the extent that things keep showing up, whether it's the robots, whether it's the rotated cameras, whether it's short-term rental monitoring software, whatever it is. But I constantly hear that our staff is just overburdened with work. We don't have enough time for different things. But what concerned me, I think, that in addition to some of these other things that you're working to resolve or trying to explain, is the amount of time that certain staff members are accessing those cameras for what purpose. I want to back the police and any kind of safety or any kind of vandalism or anything kind of like that, but I just keep, and whether it's public works, our sewer system, our water system, I think those things are very important. But I worry that it's somewhat of a little bit of they're enamored with, it's used for things that maybe it shouldn't be used for, and at a great expense. If we're not using all of these bells and whistles that particular product, then why in the world couldn't we have done something for less of an expense? So that's all it was.
Thank you. And I saw a hand, and was it you, Ethel? Yes, please come on up.
That was short. Live in town. You want me to sign again?
Do we want her to sign again?
I got it.
Okay. You're good.
Okay. I have 3 points. One is, if the company is sold, what happens to the data and information that's been collected? Second thing had to do with some of the points that you raised, and that had to do with we don't have facial recognition activated. Does that mean that it is available? And if it is available, the third thing that I wanted to know was whether it can be turned on remotely. And I think I'm with Jaylene. I think that we do have a need, but I think that we need to put in very, very clear guidelines about what we're expecting out of this software and what the town expects. That's fine.
Thank you. And I just want to say that no one can come up again, but if you change your mind and you're in a row I already went by, just put your hand up and I'll come back to you. Because I know you can get inspired by what somebody says, so I don't want to quell that. So the next row back, anybody in that row, please come up. Because I have to tell you, I can't tell who anybody is beyond the second row, so. We'll try to identify. Hello.
Hi, I'm Matt, the top of Northwood. I feel like I kind of had a reflection of some of the things that have already been said. I do have one question and then a comment. My question is about the actual legal terminology of the end user license agreement that's offered by Verkada to its end user, which is the town of Paonia. I'm kind of getting the impression nobody's really sure about that specific document. It's the kind of thing we all scroll past and click accept whenever we use a piece of software technology. I feel like maybe there's a place for some more due diligence if that hasn't already happened. Maybe somebody on town staff should be tasked with very deliberately going through that document and understanding if, for example, facial recognition features are turned off for us, if they're necessarily turned off for people who will be using the database in the future, or even if the data that we have access to is eliminated after a certain time period, if it isn't still stored on a cloud server somewhere indefinitely. And the other part of the comment that I have is something that's already kind of been in the air. I'm not sure if I understand what the need is. Why are we surveilling people in this town? Is there enough crime to justify the expense and the drama of having this system? Why would we, as residents and staff and the mayor of this small town where we all are seeking something alternative from the mainstream, go along so readily with the assumption that we need surveillance? I don't want to be surveilled. I know many people feel the same way. Maybe we would have an incident of vandalism. Would its expense justify what we trade for being surveilled all the time and all of its potential mishaps? It's an invasion of privacy in many ways, and I'm not comfortable with it. I don't want to live in a town like Paonia to submit to that status quo. It's not a good thing. We need to question it more deeply. Thank you.
How about that? That's better.
People should support each other in town. You know, that's why we're here.
I know, but it's very hard with trying to record the meetings.
Something to talk about.
And if you would like to come up and speak, come on
I
up.
will, I'll do it.
Well, come on. Do you want to wait or would you like to do it now?
Sure.
Come on up. I just went by your row.
Well, I come in respect to all of you. I actually haven't been to these meetings, but I've seen a lot of engagement.
Can we have your name and if you live in town or out of town?
Yeah, I live in town. My name is Vincenzo.
And if you'll go ahead and sign the
Sure.
book, thank you.
And so I'm here to support the community, respect to all of you guys. You know, I feel the way that a lot of the community does feel about this particular matter. And just like Matt said, you know, for such a small town to be surveilled, spending all this money on it, we're constantly surveilled in this day and time. And they are continuing to push this. It's in your homes, it's on your phone, it's everywhere you look. So we are being surveilled more than we know, and we're just letting it happen in the sense of security. But as a freedom, as a human being, as a sovereign being, we need to recognize that this is important to stay mindful of and not to just give it away all the time in the sense of freedom. We all did come here for an alternate way of living, and it's a beautiful town. And you know, when I see it at the town park and I realize it was right there, and I just feel that it just feels a little wrong to be watched already, and we're already being watched. These people can remotely come in and log into devices, log into data. They're not going to tell you that, but they do have that ability. So there should just be consideration in the places you mentioned the infrastructure with the water. And have they needed that at all yet for anything? That's kind of my question. They needed it, like leakage or things like that? Okay, so that makes sense. But in the skate park, in the park, such a small population, I have trust in this community. I've lived in a lot of places. I've been there for almost 4 years now. And I've never felt in a safer place than this. I don't ever feel in danger. I feel very safe here. Things do happen, there are mishaps, but overall, I believe the citizens are the surveillance. We can be the surveillance. We look after each other. And that's what a tight-knit community can do for each other. And that's the beauty of it. To spend all this money, to have all these unknowns, to have live streams, to have all this video going to all these people. It just doesn't feel right, and we need to protect this as we go forward, because before you know it, your rights are gonna continually get ate up and demolished and diminished. So we just gotta stand for what's right, that's why we're all here. We love this place, we love the people, and we just wanna keep it, we just wanna recognize the freedoms that we still have and we can uphold them, you know, so that's kind of all I have to say. I don't know much about it, but I'm gonna start digging deeper, I'm gonna start looking into it more and start showing up more, because I do support the community and I support the people that are here, and that's why I'm here, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Start with your friends. All right, so in the row behind is the gentleman who was just here. Is there anyone who would like to speak that I'm missing? Okay, how about am I to the back row now? All right, please come on down.
Hi, my name's Katie Kerr, I live in town. I just wanted to bring to you guys' attention, I'm not sure, but I think it would be worth looking into if facial recognition can be applied retroactively to footage. And on that same note, if we can add something in about not giving our footage to DHS or ICE or anything like that. I'm not sure again if they can apply it retroactively, but I think that's something that would be very good to look into and make sure that we're on that same, on the right path before we get too far down into the rules. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else in the back row? Yes, come on up, sorry.
Elizabeth Yari, I'm out of town. If you are observing and if you are observing something, knowing that something bad is going to happen, something bad is going to happen. It's quantum physics. You are the observer. So I just feel like all these systems are the observer. This surveillance system is the observer looking for bad things to happen. But this is a good town with good people. And I also believe that we can police ourselves. We don't need Big Brother looking at us. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the back row? Anyone standing at the doorway? Come on up.
Because my baby won't pass that. My name is Joy Homer, I live in town. I don't know much about the specifics. I haven't read this documentation tonight, but I think just in my heart, I feel really bothered hearing straight from your mouth, sir, that maybe there should have been these protections put in the beginning. And what really bothers me deeply as a person and a mother is that Ding 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 says that we aren't equipped to be doing this in the first place. And that so many people are against this. It wasn't a decision made collectively. And now you are asking our help to make this good. Bothers me a lot. Bothers me a lot. And I don't really care if the capacities are turned off, just the mere fact that they are possible. Maybe you would never use them. I don't know your character that well. Maybe none of you would use them. I don't know your character that well. But what happens when there's employee turnover and turnover? I don't like that there's an even capacity for a tool like this in our town. That's all I need to say.
Thank you. All right, and I'm gonna start at the back row on this side of the room. Any hands? Anybody want to come up and speak in the back row? Okay, seeing none, the second to the back row. Hi. Oh, say your name, please. Sorry.
Hi. Good work. I'm Susie Caldas. I live just out of town and I also work on Grand Avenue. So I read through this ordinance and on paper, it sounds very thorough and it sounds thoughtful and it talks about transparency, accountability, and protecting people's privacy. I support those things. However, my recent experience with town staff did not reflect that. I learned that a normal, though admittedly uncomfortable interaction I had with the deputy clerk was documented and labeled as the Susie Caldas incident. I'm assuming that is what Mr. Nguyen has referenced today in an email routine incident. I learned that incident was from December 19th. And I just learned that I've been logged. So I want to be very clear. To me, that was not an incident. It was a routine exchange, while tense in the moment, and at times felt dismissive, became unnecessarily formalized and reported in a way that feels out of proportion to what actually occurred. Your deputy clerk then spent an hour reviewing the footage and modifying the audio controls to 100%. So that that could be logged and archived for further reference by accessing my name, Susie Caldas. Susie spelled incorrectly, Caldas spelled correctly. So I'm trying to figure out and understand how that fits within this ordinance. You've outlined specific limited purposes for surveillance. Things like safety, preventing crime, protecting property. Where does documenting a basic interaction with a tax-paying citizen, property owner fall within that? Because if that qualifies, then the scope of this is a lot broader than what's being presented here. And that is what concerns me. This isn't really about the cameras. It's about how they're being used and who is accessing them and the judgment behind the use. You can have strong policies on paper, but if normal interactions are being labeled as incidents, then something is not working. That points to a staff conduct issue, not just a policy issue. And I'll be honest, changes how I feel to walk into town hall. It creates hesitation. It makes me wonder how interactions are being reported and characterized. I had no idea I was being recorded. Now I know. And it makes me wonder how these interactions are impacting me, my husband, and our businesses. This to me is not trust. So I'd like to see a few things happen and I will send a follow-up email. And perhaps this lies in policy rather than ordinance. I'd like to see a clear definition of what qualifies. I'm finished. 3 things. I'd like to see a clear definition of what qualifies as an incident. Transparency around what happens to records like the one created about me, whether they can be challenged, corrected, or removed.
Susie, your time's up. Please. So we're have gotten 3 minutes. I'm gonna be fair. Susie, would you come in the office and let's talk there?
Susie,
Point of order.
Yes, because I've already got a privacy lawyer in DC on call.
But let's,
So I have two sentences. I want better guidance for staff.
Point
so
of
that
order.
This kind of overreach does not continue, and right now you have a gap now between what this ordinance says and what's actually happening in practice.
thank you.
And you've probably broken the law.
You're here.
Point of order.
Right. Who else in the third row? Hang on. No. I'll come back when everyone else in line, okay? Oh, yes, please come down. I see your hand.
My name is Amber Lake and I live in town. I'm very nervous to public speak, so sorry if I stumble a little bit. First off, this was presented to us to not be voted on because it was for public safety. What you're telling us this camera is being used for, why the police officers aren't the only ones allowed use to it, is because you were using it to monitor water things and all kinds of stuff. That's not public safety. So in a way, this was purchased under false pretense, because that's not public safety. That's you monitoring instead of getting off your butt and going and looking at it. You want to sit on a camera system and watch it, and you want us to pay for that without a vote. That's not okay. At that point, when you're using it to watch your systems and monitor town, things like that, that requires a vote. That's not public safety. This is a separate system. Okay, I do have a handout. Again, very nervous, sorry. Public safety is in the hands of our officers. If you have access to a real life feed that is against Colorado law, if it has these attributes, whether they're turned on or not, who's policing when these are turned on? Who's policing when things are deleted or gone through? Who's policing that? Our officers police that. Those are the ones we trust to do that because they are held to a standard by our state, which you are not. You are not the law. So to use something like this in this manner is inappropriate and is beyond reach of what your responsibilities are as people that we trust to protect us and take care of us. So may I approach?
Actually, if you would just give them to the clerk, and then they'll give them to us, because we're not gonna be able to read them while we're
One
sitting
is
here.
about public safety require guardrails,
Okay.
which quote Colorado statutes and state laws about recording and or viewing live feed alone being viewed by anybody requires a warrant, even by our officers. What are you doing? You've got a $50,000 toy that is being used by our officials. Keep going. No, I'm not gonna
45 more
violate
seconds.
rules.
Thank you.
I apologize for that. Oh, also I have one more. This one covers accountability that is required for what was already done. I would like a third party to look over these things that we're being told were in this report and have it made available to the public. It's
Okay.
not your offices.
Did you get what you wanted? Both copies for us to see?
Yes, ma'am.
You're good. Okay, thank you. All right, who else in that third row? Please. Just do this, please. So, okay, go ahead. Hang on one second. If you would, I see people out in the hall. Please feel free to come in. There are chairs and we can put out more chairs. So if you want to come in, please do so. Okay, sorry, sir. I just want.
My name's Ron Luttrell, and I live in town, and forgive me if I'm gonna be talking a little fast. But a couple of things. One, if the fact that in this thing that you guys like passed out, it says that the recording is enabled. I'm sure that Sergeant Henderson would agree that under the ECPA and the Wiretap Act, that recording a conversation that one is not party to is federally illegal and is punishable by 5 years in prison and $250,000 fine. And if anybody here or anyone in town has at any point had a conversation within earshot of those cameras without consenting, without anyone in the conversation consenting, they could sue the town for $10,000 or $100 a day. Also, this town is so safe that I left my keys on my dashboard right now, and I'm pretty sure my car's gonna be there. I don't think we have that kind of crime. Also, I recognize that the board is not like in the security industry, but I am, and I can assure you that the fact that the videos are on someone else's server means they can be accessed and almost certainly are being accessed by people that have not been specifically authorized. I guarantee that there's a huge list of workers that are working in the facilities that are co-located with Verkada who are getting paid $20 an hour. And if I'm sure that anyone could send them a text message offering them cash, and for $5,000, I'm sure that they're pulling those videos off of there without anyone here's permission. We could have built the system for like around $15,000, where we could have had all the cameras going to servers that are in town. There's plenty of people in town who are qualified to do that, but instead we decided to give money to a corporation that is not based in Paonia. Also, in terms of only the police should have access, only the police should have access if they have a warrant. If a crime has occurred, I'm sure that would be easy to get. And if you said, okay, well, do we want to monitor things? Please reach out to me. I will buy you a security camera to check the levels at the water plant. Like it's not that expensive. And I'll do that just to ensure that the remaining cameras can only be accessed with a warrant. But maybe I didn't have to talk that fast.
All right, so the second row from the front. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Come on up. I didn't see your hand.
Hello, my name is Chelsea Bookout and I live in town. My comment is probably not gonna be that exciting, but I was on town council and somehow we were able to make decisions and have meetings and have minutes that were appropriate and accurate, and we didn't have any of this. So I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot of money being spent on a lot of things that don't actually impact good decision-making in the town. And also, as a resident, I agree with all of these people that there's a reason why we live here, and the big reason of that is we don't need this kind of stuff. And so like, all this is cool and fancy and sweet, we're coming up as a town, but I don't think it actually impacts the decisions that you all make and making good decisions or giving accurate information to anyone. I don't agree that you have to have a camera present to have accurate notes for your meeting. I don't agree with that. I certainly don't like the fact that as a school teacher, I'm at the park, we're there a lot. I don't love that that's all being monitored. I don't think parents appreciate that. I think that parents want to have their kids play at that park and not feel like someone's watching them. And I really trust our officers way more than any technology that you could put in this town. They are amazing, and for that amount of money, maybe you invest in the police department instead of cameras. Yeah.
Come on, sorry. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm not to your row yet.
I'm Alessandra Barley, out of town, and I just wanted to add, came in another point you forgot is that just because we are not accessing the facial recognition technology or enabling it on our side, means that it can still be utilized, again, by some minimum wage goon in Topeka. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you came in late and you're in that row. Come up.
Wow,
Good.
I noticed all the cars. This is a subject dear to my heart.
I need your name
Daniela,
and your full name and whether you live in town or out of town, and then could you sign the book there?
I live out of town.
Okay.
I do spend a lot of time and money in Paonia. I never voted for a police state. Did you? Did you vote for
Okay,
security?
you need to please speak to me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Please. I'm sorry. We have a right to privacy, a constitutional right to privacy. And biometrics is going too far This is innocent, this is guilty until proven innocent. It's an abomination. I am completely against facial recognition. We are falling into the hands of a global agenda that has no place on Earth. Oh, seriously, I'm glad this subject, that there's a big crowd here today and that this subject is open and on the table. This is not okay. Spying on everyone. We need every living thing needs privacy. And you are falling for something that you shouldn't be falling for. We don't need it, and we need our privacy.
So now, the gentleman in the second row.
Jason Shawcroft. I live in town. And I am new to the area. I moved here in October. And what I don't understand coming from a bigger city is, where's the justification for this? I mean, in a bigger city, we have crime, we have drugs that are out of hand, we have gangs. It's Paonia, come on. Everybody here is, from what I've seen, is such a close-knit community. And we police each other, we help each other. I've never seen such a close-knit community. When I watch the message board, I see people helping people out when their benefits are cut, they're having a hard time. Or you can have a surgery and say, hey, come help me water my plants. What is the justification for this system? And why isn't it not internal? Why do we have to go through a third-party corporate to get a system that we could do in-house? I just don't quite understand. Coming from a bigger city, I saw you shake your head that, yeah, we need this. What are those reasons? I understand safety, but I haven't seen shoes hanging from phone lines for drugs being sold in the neighborhood or people running around stealing stuff. What I see is people watching out for their neighbors. That should be enough for this severity. And to see us go to a corporation that has a record of a really bad track record, when we can get it in our house, we know let's keep our house clean and keep everybody else out of it as much as possible. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you. And anyone else in that row? Oh, hang on.
I was in the row back, sorry.
What's that?
Christina Patterson.
Were you at the back door and I missed you?
Yes.
Okay.
Christina Patterson, out of town. Boy, this is quite something, isn't it? This is the power of people, citizens paying attention and filing like one core request, which brought us all here to understand that we are being surveilled. Thank you, Pete McCarthy. Shout out to Pete McCarthy for paying attention. Because none of us would ever know the extent that we are being surveilled. I'm concerned about all these cameras, like walking into town hall. I'm concerned about when, after we leave these meetings and that camera that's right up there, is that like got audio on it? Are we being spied on after we come out of the meetings and then we're talking about the meetings? Are they putting the volume up and they can hear us? I mean, that is so creepy. I cannot tell you that. We are in Paonia, there's 1,450 people here. We all came here to get away from this. This is not appropriate at all. It's not appropriate that you are making files on people, employees and citizens. For what reason, we don't know. We don't know. How is that happening? This is crazy. I don't know that I believe you when you say, I just don't believe you when you say that facial recognition was not implemented. How are we going to know? You could say that, but is it true or not? And if it is not true, if it is true that it is implemented, that goes against Colorado state laws, which you are all here to uphold. So you got to find out, you guys, or the new council, the new council has got to find out if that is being implemented, because that can't happen. You guys gotta do the deep dive. And we will help you as citizens to do that. Let's see, this feels like boilerplate, you know, it's just blah, blah, blah. It doesn't make any sense. And this should be, you see the turnout here, this should go to a vote. Really, because you know what would happen if this goes to a vote. This would not be, these cameras need to be turned off and it needs to go to a vote of the people. And then I guess that's all I have to say. Yeah, thanks. Bring a motion.
So, more people in the second row, hang on. And hang on. Anybody, come on down and then you're in the alley.
Waiting, writing down.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lori Mitchell and I am out of town. I took a couple of notes. I can't believe we have cameras here. We bought our place in 2012. We came from the Front Range where there's lots of things going on and lots of crime and things like that. Just today I checked because I was like, I saw the camera on the pavilion at the town park where my grandson hangs out, where we go and we all are dancing and having a good time. Facial recognition cameras, whether they're on or off, can be turned on, and they are not accurate. There are people that have been put in jail and have been caught for a crime that they weren't even in the state for, you guys. We don't know in this new technology, this is new, right? It's happening very quickly. We don't know what we're up against. And when we're doing that in this tiny town where I just looked up today, you know what, we're a B+. That's almost an A in this town for crime, a B+. Now I heard from someone that used to be in the town that there have been some things that have happened. But I have a friend that lives in Chicago and there's a whole lot more going on there that he deals with his children. And they don't have these kind of cameras in their town. I'm really, really not happy about this. Why wasn't it a vote? Why didn't we get asked about this? Where did it come from? Was it grant money? Or was it tax dollars? And what comes along with that? And I just want to make sure before I get dinged on. It just feels like a third eye in that pavilion, you guys. Really, you come up there and you're like, wow, that's not okay. It really isn't okay. We should have permission to do something like this. And if it was for the bathrooms that were had issues with that, why isn't there a camera there? And the amount of money that was spent on this kind of system that's some company outside of here, you can get something like that at Costco.
Yes, hang on one second. Just gonna make sure the two on the end, you're okay? The two, okay, yes, come on up. You're next.
My name's Brandon Mason. I live just out of town. Speaking as a software engineer of over 15 years of experience, I'm speaking as someone who's written cybersecurity curriculum. If you have a camera that is connected to the internet, you don't have control anymore. You have already given up control. There's a company that can access that data. They get to decide when they pull data into their cloud and when they don't. And you would never know about it. So you've actually already given up control at the moment when you've hired a provider like this. And it's not, I'll speak for myself, it's not the town of Paonia that I'm worried about having any kind of nefarious activity on the cameras. It's the fact that we're giving up control to a much wider surveillance network. All you have to do is search for Palantir and know what the company Palantir does to understand the moment we are in this society. And I agree with everyone that's come before. This doesn't have any place in Paonia. I'm happy to be a resource to you if you would like at any time. I'm available to look at any software systems and give my perspective on those. But yeah, I'm against anything that gives away the power and control of data of what's going on in this town. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Lindsay Dennison and I live outside of town. I think that the issue of public infrastructure and public safety are very vast in what you're actually trying to achieve. And so grouping in cameras widespread throughout town and saying it's for public infrastructure and public safety just doesn't make sense. Like there's a reason to have cameras in the water plant and things that affect our public infrastructure. But then to do a blanket term that we're gonna have cameras everywhere and group them in with the same rules doesn't make any sense. And I think that that should probably be looked at and maybe a separate ordinance for each one. Here. And also, it's something we should vote on. Thank you. Let's vote. Right now. Who's a brand trustee?
So anyone else in the front row that would like to speak? Okay, and then I know there are people that came in later. So okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back through the rows so that anybody that walked in later or would like to speak has an opportunity. But I'd like, if you already spoke, please don't come back. Okay, thank you. All right, yes. Meg.
Online people, can online people talk?
Yes, and I will get to you. I haven't forgotten you. If you can hang on, I wanted to get the people in the room. I see your hand. Thank you.
Thank
Can
you
you
so
hang on?
much. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Meg O'Shaughnessy and I live in town. I would just say what I'm hearing more clearly than anything is that the decision-making process was flawed. But in a town where all the people can have a representative voice, that if there's something that's going to benefit the entire community, that then we should have a voice on whether or not we think this is the way for that to happen, to protect our safety and all these things. So I would just say that, and it's true of so many instances these days, that it's the decision-making process and the level of inclusion, transparency, seeking input, that kind of thing, so that it's not that we're learning about things after the fact. I think that's what's really the most disturbing thing. And so I just invite you to really be ready to reboot, get back to square one, look at the decision-making process, make sure that everybody's included with the information about what's being proposed, so that there can be an attitude of being nice, being fair, being inclusive, and having a participatory democracy. Thank you.
And yes, please come up.
I live in town. My name is Rebecca Corona, and I just have a real quick question for you all. If I were to come up here and speak for 3 minutes, but I wanted to give my minutes to somebody else, could I do that? Is it legal?
Yeah. Well, I'm
Robert's
just,
rules allows it.
I don't know. I just don't.
Robert's
Do you need
rules allows
it?
Yeah.
It's lawful. Oh, it is lawful, but do we have to do that? Can we just?
You
If you have 3 minutes, can you get your point across in 3 minutes?
Mayor, I would like the council to weigh in on whether or not she can yield her time right now.
Well, we're not gonna do that. I'm sorry. Rebecca, I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, well, let's look into it for further.
Okay,
meetings,
I promise that. I'm not
Because
gonna.
if somebody needs an extra minute to present their whole.
We went to you,
Then
I'll find
maybe
out.
I could do that in the future.
Okay.
Let's find out if it's possible, okay?
Oh, we know, don't worry, Rebecca.
It's
wonderful. You just told me I need to read it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bring it up, Susie.
Let's read the request.
Right here.
Right.
Okay, one, a request, a clear definition of what actually qualifies as an incident. Number two, transparency around what happens to records like the one created about whether they can be challenged, corrected, or removed. Number three, and better guidance for staff so this kind of overreach does not continue. There's a gap right now between what this ordinance says and what's happening in practice. And this is part of Susie's statements here. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That worked good. I just didn't want to get into starting to try to keep track of who's got a minute left and who doesn't. Because we're not Congress, we don't have, anyway. So anyone else on this side of the room that didn't speak and would like to? Okay, Shireen, you're first, and oh, I got two more in the back, okay?
Shirley Patterson, Town of Paonia. I appreciate that there may be increased crime or vandalism at town facilities. But I think it's a big reach to ignore certain local solutions and jump to something as radical as facial recognition and all that. That's a lot less expensive also. Put better security on your facilities. How's about that? You can get somebody to just be guarding a person live, guarding your water plant, guarding, making rounds at the park regularly, making rounds at everything. Public service, public works, the sewer pond, whatever it is. For a whole lot less, employing people from here to do it and not have to go through all this bullshit. That's it.
Give us your name, in town or out of town. Excuse me. Thank you.
My name is Jess Durbin Ackerman. I live in town. First, I want to say congratulations. Look at how many people we have engaged in our town government and process of how to make decisions in our community. This is awesome to have so much community participation. Maybe not for the reason that we're upset about a decision that was already made, but I am really excited about everybody being involved in future decisions being made and being part of a conversation with our board of trustees and our town government to together collaborate on the future that we want to see in our town. So this is in some ways amazing. I also want to just say that as the executive director of the North Fork Valley Creative Coalition, I work a lot with the town. We use the town park for many of our events, which our community very much enjoys. And we appreciate the efforts made towards protecting the infrastructure there. As someone who has worked with the town for the past couple of years on the infrastructure, and we use all the infrastructure that is there, we know how hard that is to maintain and would be happy to be a partner in figuring out how to continue to maintain and protect that infrastructure, which we also as an organization invest in every year when we look to see what we need for the park and what kind of upgrades need to be made. To come to a solution and to future solutions and plans that incorporate the input of our community into how we can best steward this infrastructure and our shared resources. Thank you so much.
And I noticed there was someone in the back corner who wanted to speak. Please come up.
My name is Sarah Peterson and I live out of town. I just want to agree with pretty much everybody that has spoken here today, that this decision to put cameras in our communal space feels like an incredible violation. It was not done so with our permission.
I do not consent to being filmed and monitored. I don't enjoy that it's being done locally, but the fact that that data is going out far beyond our town, beyond our control. And I think that they can probably turn on facial recognition. They can turn on monitoring our licenses. And in an era where our brown skinned neighbors are being swept off of streets and thrown in vans and put in facilities, like there is real tangible danger to having this kind of data out in the world. And I don't feel comfortable with that. And I really would have appreciated if you had put this out to a vote. If you had asked our community if we want to be surveilled. And during this time when tensions are high and we are kind of in an intense time, I think you would have gotten a resounding no. I am concerned about why this decision was made in the first place and why you decided to go with this corporation, which has some really shady history. Where did that come from? Why did you make that decision in the first place? That is a concern. And just the essence of our town is really amazing. I love this place. This is my happy place. I spent a decade looking for this place. And it is so just disturbing to me to go downtown and have that camera. Now that I'm very aware that it's there, and go into the park and have a camera watching you. Who's watching it? Where is it being recorded? What's happening to that data? Are children being watched? Like, it just feels insanely violating in this beautiful little community that we have cultivated. And I feel safe here. The cameras make me feel unsafe. And so I would ask for you to put this to a vote. If we were to raise our hands right now, like, who wants the cameras?
Who's our brave councilman?
Who is gonna stand up for this? Who's gonna stand up for our privacy? Who's gonna stand up against corporations? Who's gonna stand up against a surveillance state? And I want you on my team. I don't want you on some corporate big brother, whatever is happening out there. I want you on my team. And I'm here and I care about this town. I care about this community. I care about our children. I care about the vibe here, and you've really violated my trust.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, anyone at the back door who hasn't spoken, come on up. Or out in the hall. Is there anybody out there? Okay.
My name is Lorelai Avey. I live about as in town as it gets. I purchased my home in Paonia because I feel safe here. I feel comfortable here. And I do not feel the need to be surveilled to feel more comfortable. I also would like to echo, especially what Meg said about transparency. This ordinance appears like it gives language for being transparent with the community. However, you did this without asking the community if it was something they wanted. And also, I think specifically, since section 7 has been up, I read through it pretty thoroughly. There's a section in there that says, you know, you're not going to look into the interior of any homes, but as somebody who lives directly downtown, how do you guarantee that? Or as somebody, I have lots of friends that live directly by the park. How are you guaranteeing those cameras are not seeing inside their homes? Is there ways to do that? Are you doing that? And again, with the facial recognition issue, I feel like that technology is not necessary in our town. I know you say it's turned off, but again, it's echoing everybody here, including engineers who, you know about this. There is a reality where it can be turned on, and it leads to a violation of privacy. I also have comments from people who did not attend. They said they wanted specifically to bring up the fact that if there was an incident that felt dangerous to the community that brought this decision to this board, then that should have been brought to the community as well. We should know if there was a dangerous incident that warranted $50,000 worth of cameras. That's all. Thank you.
And now anybody who didn't get to speak, they're on this side of the room. If you would like to speak, come on up. Gentleman in the back.
Hi, my name is David McCullen. I'm live here in Paonia. Appreciate you letting me speak. I know everybody said lots of different reasons for why we disagree with the decision to put up surveillance around town. I mean, I see reasons, but I understand some of the reasons are more like structural things over the waste, I get that, but to hear, read, after the fact that there's 5 cameras in Town Park, looking over us all the time, recording us all the time, it was really disturbing. I actually lost a little bit of sleep on that. Maybe that was just me, before knowing the ability to come to this meeting. I don't know what the accomplishment of this meeting is. I read over some of the documentation, but I guess in short, without repeating what other people said, someone mentioned this, but there's a section in here that says places that are off limits. I think we should include places that we recreate or leisure or nature, which would include the town park, so that we are not surveilling people who are just going out there to relax and hang out with their kids and do things that shouldn't be recorded and uploaded to the cloud. So yeah, that's my concept.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room on this left side that would like to speak? And then I'm going to turn it over to the person on Zoom. Okay. So I don't know who's on Zoom. I can't read your name, but please go ahead and give us your name, whether you live in town, and go ahead.
Thank you. My name is May Trumbull and I live out of town. I am going to read something. I didn't come in, so I appreciate you guys taking my comment. I'm a bit camera shy. Anyway, I live here in town in Paonia because I left the big city. And first the cameras for safety and the water plant and town hall could be looked at like a home system, activated at movement and not put on the cloud, and not $50,000, and not in recreational areas. I don't accept having a surveillance system, and I definitely don't trust this company and their shady history. And just the fact of like coming into town, going to the stage at the town park, it does make me feel creepy. I mean, there's such a thing as voyeurism too, and then the facial recognition, what's going on in the world these days. I don't think the $50,000 camera actually fits into what Paonia really needs. And I'm hoping that we could start at ground zero, because I appreciate people coming up with the ordinances after the fact, but in a way I feel that it's just kind of lip service and placating at this point, because we didn't have any say of what type of system and any system in the first place. Cameras at the restrooms, for vandalism. I can understand, maybe customer service at town hall, but a view of the street and license plates and sidewalks and the stage where people and kids are dancing and playing, I think is big time overkill. Would rather have nothing than something like spyware. So please start at ground zero again. Take some of the expertise of the people that volunteered their knowledge, maybe downscale a bit and get what we need, but this is way overkill. And definitely, I don't think there's many people here that want it at all and feel violated. I do. I feel creepy anymore, and I don't do anything wrong. I just don't like being spied on. So thank you very much for this opportunity to talk. I appreciate it.
Thank you. With that, yes.
Oh, Mr. McCarthy would like to speak.
Oh, okay.
He's on there.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Good. Yes, go ahead, Pete.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Well, I think that, we are 2 weeks out from the town publishing a letter in which, Mayor, you started wanted them to take out a full page ad saying I was libelous for actually factual statements. And then you posted a letter, which is still on your on the website today, saying that these are motion activated cameras and that there is no face recognition. I think we know beyond a shadow of a doubt at this point that that is not true. You still have that on your website. I think you've made a lot of false claims. I would ask that you redact those things and take that off your website immediately. But I think the more important one here, and of course, I will answer to all of the claims that were made today. But I think it's important to know that yes, they are recording 24/7. They are not motion activated, would sort of let you believe that it only comes on when there's something there. No, they're recording all the time. The motion activation is for high definition. As you all know, I've scoured through thousands and thousands of records. No one has reached out to me to ask me any of my opinion or thank me for spending the $160 to do the oversight that the board should have done before you voted unanimously to put these cameras in. You haven't corrected the record, and now you're proposing an ordinance. I don't think you have integrity at this point. I don't think you've restored your own integrity. You haven't responded to my claims of retaliation. It is very obvious that a town employee was fired based on the recordings on the camera, or at least in part. So I haven't heard any I see a lot of the same things, a lot of misdirection in your responses, but not direct responses to the things I said. And given the fact that you've made such onerous claims against me, I think that I'm owed that. I think that would show that you have some integrity. And the fact that you're not doing that, I think shows that you don't have that integrity. And that's a real problem. I think the solution here is, I'm going to put an initiative on the ballot. Your lawyer has a very dubious legal analysis that it is administrative whether we have cameras surveilling us in the park. And that is not a matter of public opinion, so it is not for the initiative process. I think this actually shows, again, that I'm dealing with bad faith actors when it comes to the town, unfortunately. And you're willing to dig your heels in even when the entire town doesn't want what you're selling. So I'm really not intent on speaking to this board anymore. I plan to reach out to the new board members. Each one of you on the board currently, not all of you actually, so there's been a few changes, but many of you.
Pete, your 3 minutes is up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And you have another thank you. The person online that would like to speak, I see a hand up. Is that Autumn?
Yes, ma'am.
If you'd like to speak, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to ask a question.
You give us your name first and whether you live in town or out of town.
Yes, Autumn Wynn in town.
Thank you.
I was just wondering if our attorney could lead a discussion regarding the specific Colorado and federal laws that permit the town to operate cameras in public spaces. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I think that's a really good question to be answered, but I think that is at another meeting and agendized specifically, because I think, okay, so thank you for all your comments. And at this point, I feel like there have been a lot of questions, good input, and I don't know how much the trustees want to actually go into the ordinance as much as have an opportunity to go through comments, questions, and address those at another meeting. Would people like to talk about the current content of the ordinance or go back to the drawing board?
I would like to say something.
Yes, please.
So this ordinance was made. Those cameras without an ordinance. Drafted, hold on, a second.
Please.
This ordinance was made and drafted to help everyone out. However, in my opinion, and I'm really sincere about this and honest. If it was up to me, I would remove the cameras. But Either vote or, I don't know, we work for the people. We are trustees.
You're here.
Why not work for the people? Like, do we work for ourselves or do we work for them?
Well, I appreciate what you're saying, but we need to put it in a framework.
Right.
So there's an ordinance here now. I think a lot of questions were asked that need to be answered and. You please stop.
Order.
Done. I'm sorry, the audience, you need to please be quiet. We need some decorum. This is the time for the trustees to speak amongst themselves, please. Thank you.
That's just my opinion. That's it. That's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is if there needs to be an ordinance, because surely, we need cameras in our infrastructure. That is, and then we have had issues that the cameras have saved us a lot of money. So.
If we do have an ordinance, can we get feedback from the community that we work for?
Well, that's what this is.
Right.
That's exactly what we're
So-
doing. So Hector, or trustee Majorado, I think a lot of good comment and questions came in that kind of need to be answered.
Right.
That I don't think we can do tonight, because some of it takes some research. So that's why I'm saying.
Well, wait. We're overturning the board. So I don't know why everyone wants to make a mess. We're going to a new board when it could be brought up again into the new board. So I would wait till the new board turns and see what they have to say and go there.
Motion.
Trustee Turner?
I would like to suggest as an agenda item soon, consideration of turning off some cameras, some number of cameras to be determined until a framework and policy and ordinance is adopted. As was suggested before, it's unfortunate this didn't happen at the rollout. And it's clear that there are valid concerns, not just for people here, but for how this information is being used. And some things we don't understand about it. So that would be my suggestion, that there's a conversation perhaps put forward for a decision as to whether to turn off perhaps some, perhaps all of the cameras. And
No, you actually do that. You fight about a community.
No. Excuse me, would you please stop? I can't even hear the trustee. If you continue, I'm gonna ask you all to leave. And I know that sounds terrible, but you need to let us discuss. We've gotten your input. We appreciate it, but we now have an opportunity for the trustees to discuss this. So trustee Torno, please continue.
I would suggest bringing it forward to perhaps the next meeting. As a interim measure, until an appropriate framework ordinance policy is adopted to address.
Okay, thank you. And I want to make sure, trustee Stelter, I see your hand up. And I'd like to give you an opportunity if you want to go ahead.
Yes, I think that this is the time that we take legal advice and also take some time to take the input from the public and rewrite the proposed ordinance. And I suggest that we table this until next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. So our attorney is online. I don't really have, at this point, I'd like us to continue a discussion. And if somebody, I personally feel that we need to leave cameras in our critical infrastructure. It has really helped because people can't be there all the time. It just doesn't work. And town hall, our back parking lot, that is for safety. So this really, I think we should bring it back and talk specifically about each of the cameras. Because I think there's some we have to keep. Now, whether it's with Verkada, I don't know. But that's my advice, is to come back and start looking at each individual camera, because some of it is quite critical for the town. And I don't know, we also need to answer some of these questions about Verkada. I read the whereas, I have no idea what they did wrong. And if it meets what people think it does, and I think that's important to get straight. Because we may be knocking a piece of corporate software that maybe doesn't deserve it. I don't know the answer to that. So I think we need to get some questions answered and maybe bring it back. So if somebody has any thoughts on that,
But perhaps a decision sooner than later as to whether to turn off some of the cameras.
Yeah,
While we're figuring the rest of it out.
now, well, I say that at the next meeting, that be talked about. Certainly, but.
I agree with trustee Stelter that,
Can you speak?
yes.
Excuse me, I can't even hear the guy sitting next to me, please.
I would table this issue for this meeting and bring it up at the next meeting with discussing what sort of replacement strategy we can put together. I want to make a motion to do that.
If you would like to make a motion, I think
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I make a motion to table this till the next meeting. We can discuss which parts of this statute ordinance that we like to adopt.
Okay, that's your
I'll
motion.
second that.
All right. Discussion, any more discussion on the motion?
Just a question.
Sure.
Which trustees get to do it?
You mean tonight?
It'll be the new ones, you guys.
It would be the new board. They'll be sworn in after, they will be sworn in after we have a public hearing. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Yes.
Comment?
Mhm.
I think making good decisions on the ordinance is going to require a bit of information. I do think it's gonna take time. There's a lot of questions that we've identified tonight that are gonna take time to answer. So I support moving forward and working on that, but I would also like to see there be a decision considered as to whether to turn off some of the cameras.
So hang on, we have a motion
Okay.
and a
That's
second.
my comment.
But so let's just take a vote on this motion. And then what you're considering is another motion.
What is the motion?
So could you repeat the motion for us?
Trustee Chair, a motion to table to next meeting to discuss which parts of the ordinance to adopt.
Okay, that's the motion. There is a second. All in favor?
We can discuss it.
Aye.
Okay, could we have a roll call, please?
I don't think that was.
Please, would you all please stop? We're gonna get through this.
I cannot hear at all. I can bear, it breaks everything up when somebody speaks from the crowd.
Yeah, the way our cameras are set up. So could we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Stelter,
Aye.
trustee Chen. Aye. Trustee Heck. Aye. Trustee Dorado,
Nay.
trustee Turner,
Aye.
motion carries.
Okay, that motion carries, and I think that puts looking at the ordinance, but I think your motion is probably equally as appropriate. Because it would take us into the future for the next meeting, I think. Could you state it again?
I make the motion that we put on the agenda for our next meeting a decision as to whether to turn off some of the cameras until a adequate framework is put in place to regarding their governance.
Okay, do we have a second on that?
I second that.
Okay,
That's sort of vague. Some of the cameras.
no, it's not vague. No, I honestly think it was good.
Okay.
Because it matches No, I do. I think it's okay. But let's do this. Could you read back the motion? Just so I know what I heard.
Make a motion that we put on the agenda for our next meeting decision as to whether to turn off some of the cameras until an adequate framework is put in place regarding the governance.
Okay, so you did, okay, we're good. And we have, did somebody second it? You did, okay. Any more discussion? Hearing none, let's take another vote, and could we do a roll call on that, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Stelter,
Aye.
Trustee Chet,
Aye.
Trustee Heck,
Yay.
Trustee Medrado,
This is for the second motion.
Yes.
Aye.
Trustee Turnout.
I,
Motion
Okay.
carries.
All right, we have two motions, and both of them will be addressed at the next meeting, and you'll be happy to know that the new trustees will be seated. Thank you, everyone. So we'll move on to the next item on here, which is
Billion access,
so
without an ordinance, bring litigation.
So could somebody make a motion for a 5-minute recess? Actually, 5 minutes enough? Well, let's go to the next one. Okay. Excuse me, could you please take your conversations out in the hall? Thank you. So our next topic is, and maybe close the door. Thank you. Okay, consideration of approval of the KLM change order number 3, which is town administrator. You're gonna explain where we are with that. Thank you.
Yeah, so there isn't a third change order. This is to let you know that there will be a third change order once KLM finishes their with construction inspection. We believe that's a better way of doing it, just to make sure that we don't have like a fourth and a fifth change order. And like I said, there's only one last piece. It's a final inspection that they have to figure out how much time is needed. That'll be on a future agenda for approval, but this is really just informational. There's no motion required.
Okay. So do you feel like, what's the timing? When do you think? What are they telling you now? Are we looking at, well, they've already crossed the date that they were supposed to be done.
Yeah.
All right, so are we hoping 2 weeks?
I really hope so. I really hope it's the next week.
Okay, all right, so we will look for a change order at the next meeting. Oh, yes.
Trustee Stelter has his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, trustee Stelter?
That question was just answered. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. And would anyone in the audience have any comments or questions on this topic?
What does it mean? What is it?
Thank you. Come on up to the podium. We may not answer it. We don't do a back and forth, but surely ask a question.
If you
Wait,
don't mind,
wait. And would you give me your name?
Daniela Arnold.
Okay,
And
go ahead and ask the question, but we will not answer it while you're there. We're not gonna do a back and forth, but we'll do our best to answer it when you sit down.
perhaps you could just clarify for those of us who haven't been on top of it, exactly what you are proposing here. What is the KLM change? What is that?
Just sit down. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I'll let the administrator give the Reader's Digest version.
Yeah, so since last year, we've been working on relining our 2 million gallon finished water storage tank. We're nearing completion. You heard it in my report that we're 90% complete. But there is still an construction inspection service that we hired to make sure the contractor is putting things in according to specifications that were approved through submittals. That company is KLM. We've already had 2 change orders with them because our contractor has failed to meet their dates, and we're already hitting them with $750 of liquidated damages. So rather than continue with additional change orders because we're so close, you're going to get a third change order once they do their final inspection and the contractor is complete. That's what that is.
And it'll be associated with mostly with our inspector.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. And, oh, you didn't thanks. You didn't want to speak, you're just,
Yeah, I didn't sign in.
thanks, Jason.
Brandon.
Oh, Brandon, sorry. Brandon, what's your last name?
Mason.
Oh, Mason, that's close. So, okay. That's,
Done with that and make the motion that we take a 5 minute break?
yes.
I'll second.
All in favor of a 5 minute break?
Aye.
I may come and sit next to you, my computer's dying. Oh, of course. Yes, you can. See it off the.
Oh my gosh. Let's put in the office, do some work. And Rebecca.
In the bathroom. Did she decide she needed to come over?
No, she's gonna experience.
Bye.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do. Thanks. It seemed like a more organized effort, louding effort.
It sounded like more than 20. I was too. I took notes from it. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. So it was quite a few more. Wasn't signed, that like somebody came. Came in for sure. That's how. I know. And I'm probably stopped reading to hard part. Then we connect there for the properties. Those, a lot of them. Yeah. Sure. Not the only ones that I have. We come into the office. Where I had conversations with different kids. Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned Robert Meetings the other last time, so I brought some meetings. I did. It takes one.
It's just trying to find the balance.
Okay, where were we? Item number 4.
Three.
Sorry, oh, 5, sorry, 3. The upgrading the firewall system. Dutchess County for access to the CAD software. Okay,
Yeah, so this is upgrading our existing firewalls. I believe this quote is for 3 firewalls. If you recall, we went to a new IT provider, one that could better meet our needs, which includes having a VPN at that virtual private network so that our police department can connect to the computer assisted dispatch that we have in an agreement with the county. So this is to replace those firewalls so that we're able to get that going and that the PD can then do their thing. It'll replace all firewalls in town, so.
and we have 3 now, and it's gonna be a 1-for-1 replacement.
Correct.
So the phones is, contract is terminated anyway, right? That's what's the old firewall.
No, so this is actually purchasing hardware, which goes to replace what phones had in place. It's not good. So that's why we're asking to be able to do this.
Any other comments from trustees? Any comments from our audience? Okay, thank you. Don't want to forget you. All right, would somebody,
I'll move to approve the proposal for Astonish for the firewall replacement and VPN configuration for the amount not to exceed $9,290 in the town, and to authorize the town administrator to execute all necessary documents.
I'll second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Passes unanimously. Now we're on number 4, consideration of electrical repairs at Smith Center.
Yeah, so there was a lot of electrical work that's needed at the Smith Center. And we only have 1 quote in the packet, but we did receive 2 additional quotes. The quote in the packet is from Merit Electric, but we also received a quote from AB Electric and I believe Black Canyon Electric to do the work. Really, I don't think that Tina's not here. What we're looking to do is get the go-ahead to hire one of these electrical companies to get us into compliance so that we can meet that target open date of June 1st. I don't think that if we went with Merit Electric, the quote is the highest, but there are things that we can take out of that quote that aren't necessarily needed.
Are they the ones that did the
They are not.
Black
Canyon is the one that did the walkthrough and told us all of our deficiencies.
And we have their quote, or we do not have their quote?
We did end up getting their quote.
We have. Right, so we had some materials we used when we were doing the Smith Center.
I'm sorry, we do not have their quote. We have
Merit.
We have AB Electric's quote.
And Merit's quote. But we don't have Black Canyon, and they're the ones that did the walkthrough.
The walkthrough, correct.
So.
Are they working on a quote for us? Or
It's a husband and wife team. And so we want their quote, but it's going to take them time to get that to us. And I'm going to check to make sure it wasn't sent to me. But
Well, there's such a difference between AB's 7,300 and Merit at 29,550. So the one seems too low, given all the things that need to get done. But again, I don't know anything about electrical.
yeah, and so this is something that was put together by Fina. She believes that the first 2 items in Merit's quote, the install grounding in all piping systems and install ground wire through all circuitry in the building. That's for all of those outlets for the light fixtures that were replaced. But as you heard in the workshop, They met code at the time that they were put in. I can't remember what it was. There was something
I think.
where they were grounded. And what Merit is proposing is to do a ground for every outlet. So she thinks that, hey, that can be edited. But again, the quote is 29,550 because they didn't edit that. We did get another quote from AB Electric, and we don't have Black Canyon said. I checked my email. Instead, we have AB Electrics, and that's that 7,375. And they talk about the things that they would do, which it brings it into electrical compliance now, so we can get it open, knowing that there are other things that need to be done down the road.
So could we divide somehow? Yeah, I guess we could move that just to get it in compliance with, and have the stuff that's grandfathered in done at a later time. I think to reduce that 100,000.
That was also the suggestion of a couple of electricians that we talked to, was that, hey, you know, when the light fixtures were put in, they were put into code. But there are other things that are critical that need to be fixed. There's sub panels and breakers that need to be changed. And then there was one where right now there's a countertop underneath the sub panel in the kitchen. And that's a no, you can't do, that's not up to any code because it's a conductive surface. So they're saying remove that countertop. And that'd cut some of the costs down, as opposed to turning those two sub panels into junction boxes and then rerouting the panel outside of the kitchen, which would be a massive expense. I think that's how Merit has bid the project, as if they were turning it into a J box and moving the panel outside the kitchen.
And do you think AV was assuming that
just remove the countertop?
Remove that countertop, and what page that's in here?
This? I don't think it was. I have it up on the screen.
It's in the pictures. We could look at it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I meant. When Black Canyon did the back, everything,
That's
kitchens, they showed a picture of it. So if we could find it, just be nice to look.
Well, it seems like there's nothing really about that building that's Cadillac. And so maybe we don't need the Cadillac quote and.
But we ought to be into code compliance.
Oh, yes, exactly.
And the problem is it's a public space. So we have to make sure that it meets the insurance requirements.
And we did already take care of the fire hazard that was actively
water emissions.
No, it was even worse. There was a refrigerated unit that was stepped down to plug in. It was the wrong voltage, and it caused all the bus bars to become blackened. So they were getting very hot and could have caught fire. So we removed that. That is done. We talked with the Paonia youth group or the youth center committee. And they're like, they don't care if it goes, but they need something to be able to handle water and things during the BMW rally. So, but that is already gone. That was a big problem that could have sparked a fire. It was getting very hot, so.
And that's been taken care of.
Yeah, and I guess my point was, if AB's proposal, if somebody can affirm that gets us into code where we need it. And then we want to get things done quickly. I guess you have to check and see if that's what they could do that in our time frame too. But is that sufficient for now? I thought that's kind of what they're suggesting too. Just
right. Yeah. So, because we have that deadline. But can we have the public in there if we only do what AB Electric is proposing? Because I've not compared. Because we just saw it tonight.
So speaking with AB Electric, this is what would need to be done to make this safe, so that we could reopen it. What she has quoted is at almost $7,400. The difference between the two on speed is that, again, AB Electric is like a 2-person show. There might be another person. But Merit Electric has a lot of electricians. And would be expedient, but making a decision tonight, I think with AB Electric, if that is where you guys go, I think there's enough time that they can get that work done before, we're trying to get open June 1st.
Well, have you had discussions with Merit about getting just the necessary things up to code without doing the other grounding, the ceiling, et cetera?
I haven't had those discussions with Merit, and Athena hadn't had them either.
But that would reduce this.
It would significantly reduce those costs, yeah.
Because I would sort of like to have the larger company that was Merit, that is come in and do what's necessary to get us up to code without upgrading the stuff that had been grandfathered in and is legal now.
Okay.
In hope that we could reduce this and maybe upgrade those other grounding systems at another later date.
Yeah, and so we have done business with both AB Electric and Merit. AB Electric is our most recent electrician out at the park, so they've done things outside of the teen center. And I think they were the electricians that we hired for the restroom remodel as well.
Okay.
Do you know if, I'm looking at the Merit, clean sub-panel connections, remove slightly burnt neutral conductors and troubleshoot as to why these conductors are getting hot? Do we know what that means? Because that does not sound good.
Yeah, that's, so again, going back to this report, that Black Canyon put together, I want to find the sub panel, but you can kind of see where there's work that needs to be done. And I'm going to see, this is the sub panel. So
what page are you on?
This is page 122 in the packets. And the questions are here. I mean, this has to go, right? So that is a conductive top underneath an electrical panel. So that countertop either needs to be moved or removed completely because it doesn't follow any sort of code. This is the panel that they're talking about getting hot, and here is kind of what it looks like.
Yeah. And what I don't know is I can't do a comparison as to whether AB is planning to take care of that, kitchen, because this is all in the kitchen. Let's see. Kitchen, furnace, area about that.
So that's what sub panel K1 and K2 means.
Okay, at the very on.
Yeah, it's like the fourth.
Sewer popper wiring color for conductor, verify that panel is labeled correctly. You want to remove the cabinet base.
This is that part that they're talking about.
Below the panels, so that proper clearance, okay. Check that all wires and safe, make sure all terminations are tight, remove freezer load with step up transformer. Sounds like it's getting at the most,
the critical areas.
Critical, yeah.
No, if we asked Merit to limit it to what was necessary and then compared the prices. They're both qualified electricians. They know what needs to be done for safety and code. Wouldn't we just go with the lower bid?
Sure.
Do we need a third bid though?
If they have,
we can typically, yeah, so, but yes, and that could be an effective emotion, right, is you would approve, if Merit comes back, doing apples to apples.
Yeah.
And then we would, you would allow the staff to choose the lowest price. And then question.
Purchasing policy, did we have to get 3?
So typically you can do 3, but it's within your authority to, change those rules. However, we can treat Black Canyon as a refuse to bid. And it would still satisfy, because we did reach out to them. She's small and so this would be a lot of work.
Okay. Well, we do, time is of the essence, that is for sure.
Since we are under such pressure to get it done quickly, I would move that we ask Merit to make their bid comparable to what AAB did and leave off that, the extra grounding of the ceiling conduit, circuits and other things that could at least pass for code for right now. And then, allow staff to choose which one of those they thought would be most expedient and the best, contractor to hire.
And that was a long motion.
Well,
So
yeah,
let's,
well, that's what I'd like to put in the motion. I didn't
yeah,
need
okay.
to start at that.
Okay. Well, hang on one second. We have somebody from the audience that would be interested in speaking, and then we'll get back to your motion. Okay.
Yes, I live in town. So when I moved here a little over a year ago, I completely remodeled one of the houses that I bought. And I got bids from AB, Merritt, and I think Webb was the other one, I can't remember. So AB came in the lowest. I compared apples to apples. I gave them all exactly the same criteria. The difference was one was $15,000, one was $17,000, and AB came in at $7,000. So that's my experience with AB. Yes, they're a small operation, but it's local. The A stands for Amber. It's husband and wife team, and they're very, very good. And not only did they do what I had on the list, but they also did above and beyond. So that's been my experience with them. Just gonna put it out there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's also the town's experience.
Everybody's got a hand. Shireen, you're next.
I second that. I agree with Amber and AB. They are more than efficient. They are more economical. She's a state inspector. Enough said.
And yeah, no, was it Rebecca? Did I see a hand? Okay.
Thanks a lot, guys, for letting me talk a lot today. I think A&B Electric did work for me, and they come in and they tell you exactly what needs to be done and tells you can do this, and then later, when we need to do something for right now, this is gonna be okay, it's safe, it's to code, but we really want to change it and upgrade it a bit. And that can be done later on. So they're super honest, super fair, and do quality work.
Thank you. Yeah, we all, I mean, right? We all have a good, which is, yeah. So go back to your, what?
Yeah, I was just, wanting possibly, Merit to compare what AB is proposing in the quote and allow staff to choose what they would like, which would be more expedient and quickest to get done.
Or low cost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Low cost, lower cost, and are able to meet our time frame.
Was that?
It was a motion, but it got to ramble on there.
I don't know if that is a motion or not.
I could try it again.
Yeah.
I move that we ask Merit Electric to resubmit a proposal that is comparable to what AB has proposed to do, and then allow staff to choose which they believe would be most expedient. And
lowest cost.
Motion and a second. And trustee Stelter, are you, anything you need to add?
I think not.
Okay, thank you. Are we ready for a vote? If so, all in favor?
Aye.
Sounds unanimous, okay. Yeah, right, stage one, consideration of enacting stage one fire restrictions.
So a few weeks ago, I got a hold of our emergency management, county's emergency management, and then also Sheriff Taylor, to start talking about fire restrictions in the county. They had a meeting last week on, I think, Wednesday or Thursday, where they met with all of the fire districts and they said at this time, they're not ready to start fire restrictions. But we have, as the town of Paonia, we set it within the boundary limits. No business or no vote is needed tonight. This is to let you know that we're already on it. We're discussing it. We're partnering with the county and coordinating, and we have a resolution ready to go once the county decides whether or not fire restrictions are in place. So that's what's in this agenda packet. You'll probably see it at a later time, but we're being proactive and we are working with our county partners.
So you don't want to approve it tonight?
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead.
And so I wasn't clear. So your proposal is when the county sets it, we will do it concurrently.
Correct.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Trustee Stelter.
oh, go ahead, Trustee Stelter, sorry.
I'd like to propose that we just go ahead and allow that when the county declares a stage 1 emergency fire restriction, that we just go ahead with it, but reserve the right to be more restrictive than the county. And that will take care of this for in perpetuity.
I don't know if we can we?
I would wait. And I understand what Mayor Pro Tem Stelter's trying to do. But my recommendation would be to wait. The fire warden for the county is Sheriff Taylor. So really what he says kind of goes. And that's kind of, I don't want to step on anybody's toes because we've been really working hard to coordinate with the county and rebuilding relationships.
So your recommendation is let's just put this on hold till we hear what they're gonna do. Because they could go beyond, the county could go beyond what the previous resolution.
There is a chance that they make like stage, let's say it becomes really dry very quickly, and they have to go to stage 2 or 3. Our resolution that is proposed is written as stage 1 fire restrictions.
Comments from the audience? Okay. So with that, it's really more informational and we will see it coming as soon as the county, because from the emails, it sounds like they aren't quite ready to initiate any stage yet.
That's correct. They met with all of the fire districts and said conditions aren't there yet.
Any other questions from trustees? Okay. Consideration of stage 1 water restrictions.
Okay, so this is something that we're currently in. We are in stage 1 water restrictions, but people are starting to irrigate again as the weather, gets a little bit better. What this resolution does is it amends and reaffirms that we are still in stage 1 water restrictions. And that's because we're going from a 2 million gallon tank to a 750,000 gallon temporary tank. And that's what's currently holding all of our drinking water. What this resolution does is it says, hey, we're still in stage 1 or water restrictions. However, we're modifying it. So, we're modifying it so that there isn't going to be a purple flag needed. There isn't going to be anything, based on addresses. Instead, we're saying stage 1 water restrictions right now are, people may, if they're using domestic water, not irrigation water, but domestic water, you can irrigate from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Enforcement would be complaint driven. And there isn't a need for purple flag for irrigation companies. If somebody's watering on 3rd Street and it's Monday, and a complaint's made to the town, we'll contact the property owner and ask, do you have ditch water, are you on Stewart ditch or not? Otherwise, this is to try to simplify water restrictions.
How does it work now?
You're supposed to have a purple flag and then it's even or odd addresses. And this was really coming as a recommendation from Public Works. I did run this by Nikki before the agenda pack was put together and they're all board.
Was it also the time of day? Was that how we did it before?
Time of day, no, it was just address and day.
The time of day thing, to me seems, I'm just not sure that that's going to work for everyone. 7 PM to 4 AM, so that means they have to be doing it at night. I mean, which is, makes sense, but I'm concerned that that's really gonna be feasible for everyone to be able to do.
When the first water restrictions were adopted, there was a lot of public comment that said that to have it for certain days and times, regardless of address, was more helpful for them because they have an automated system. So that's what we're trying to do, is make it as simple as possible. And I thought this was going to be one of the controversial items of the night, so.
What about like 5 PM to 10 AM or something like that? I mean, I'm concerned that that's too restrictive.
So the mayor actually brought this question up with one of our water folks, who said the reasoning he was okay with 7 is because at 5 the sun's still out, and we're trying to stop water loss. So.
And that's great if you can set your timer and get it done, but I just, not everybody does it that way. And so that's my concern, is it's just a little, might be unworkable for some folks.
Well, I think you just set a sprinkler, that's what we do. We don't have anything timed, but we have to set a sprinkler that evening.
Yeah, amendments can be made to this resolution, so.
And if people work night shifts, I mean,
well, what is it, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday? So it's kind of a work day weekend. I mean, again, yeah, it's kind of a best practice that you can water here at night because it's so dry. That's an easy way to do it. Vegetation doesn't suffer and your grass doesn't suffer because it is so dry, and you just don't lose as much to evaporation is what, the staff was feeling. But, it's certainly worth more discussion.
Mayor Pro Tem Stelter.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Stelter?
I was just going to say that watering after 7 until 4 in the morning saves a tremendous amount of water, because all of the water goes onto the grass and very little evaporation takes place.
I agree, and I just don't know that it's gonna work with everyone. And we're about to get our 200-million-gallon tank back online, so part of what pushed this in the first place is not gonna be its issue that long, so well, anyway, you know where I stand.
Let me just ask for any input from the audience. Okay, seeing none, we keep going.
I like this, that it's simpler than the old system of trying to remember even and odd numbered days and addresses and trying to put it together that way. So I appreciate the fact that it's simpler, and if people are desperate to water, they'll adhere to the regulations, we hope. So.
It's like you said, it's really more, nobody's gonna be driving around looking. It's gonna be more, if it's 3 PM and there's water running down the gutter, somebody's gonna go and say, hey, where's that coming from? It's probably more how.
Yeah, it would be complaint driven, and that's kind of.
So are you thinking that depending on how much water we're getting off the mountain by August?
There could
September.
be, right, there could be further, water restrictions down the road.
Right.
But this one starts April 21st, is that what that said?
This one with the amendment for how the program would work would start, was it April 21st. So technically, we're still in stage 1 water restrictions, and you're supposed to go even and odd addresses, and have a purple flag if you have your ditch water.
Nobody's gonna remember that.
And nobody's, I mean, and having less than a week to, I would push the date out if.
Right, and is this gonna be on a public announcement through Facebook, social media?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so we do the same program that we typically do. We'll push it out through social media, we'll push it out on the website, text.my.gov. We've got some artistic folks that work for us now that could make a banner that we can put on bulletin boards as well, so.
Do you think it's important to, I mean, do you want me to put my purple flag out? If that's still in place and nobody's doing it, do we want to include that in here? Or were you just trying to avoid the flag thing?
Trying to avoid the flags, yeah.
So, well, and I'm trying to remember the restrictions now about address and even and odd days.
So do you want to just get rid of that in this? Say we're not doing odd even days, we're just going to this? Is that what you're?
That's what
That's the amendment.
Yeah, that's what the amendment is. It's getting rid of the existing program and replacing it with.
Does it say that? That we're, because
Yeah,
you
it says
made
a
it sound.
resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Paonia, Colorado, amending and reaffirming stage 1 water restrictions during critical infrastructure maintenance for the protection of public health safety.
So you're not, because were you calling the purple flag stage 1?
Yes. Well,
But you're not piggybacking on the flags.
no.
You want to dump the flags?
This is the
Go
amendment.
with it, okay.
Yeah.
So that I think would just have to be made clear in the other communications.
Because, yeah, because people will be confused.
It was confusing to try to.
Yeah, that was confusing. But this is, we don't have to, so if yeah. I have to tell my husband that he can't use our ditch water at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, you can use ditch water.
Dishwater, yes, it's domestic.
I know, but if somebody's complaining, then the police are gonna come and we say it's ditch water.
Yeah. Probably.
Okay, all right, well, that'll make him happy.
Could we change the date to push it out for 3 weeks?
That's your prerogative, yeah.
May 1st or. Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah. I move to approve the resolution 05-2026 to amend and reaffirm stage 1 water restrictions with a date pushed to May 1st instead of April 21st.
Got that motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Good, okay, do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
No.
Okay. Oh, so 1 nay? And all, Mayor Pro Tem, did you vote? Oh, you're muted. Mayor Pro Tem, you're muted.
Thumbs up and thumbs down.
Well, what do you do then? Oh, wait, hey, we got a hand. Okay, thumbs up, okay. All right, so that was 4-4 and
4 to
4-1, okay. Got that? Thank you. All right. So discussion and consideration on applying for the BRIC grant for backup generators at Town Hall Water Plant and the wastewater plant.
Yeah, so this is our capital improvement plan. This is backup generators or critical infrastructure. Currently, right now, if electric were to fail at a water plant, we'd only have as much water as energy. That plant would stop operating. We had applied for a BRIC grant a couple of years ago, but it was denied because the county had updated their hazard mitigation plan, which would have included those backup generators. It didn't have it in there. We worked with the county to make sure that the new hazard mitigation plan included backup generators in our critical infrastructure. Those are water plant, wastewater plant, and town hall and police park, so 3. So now that it's included the HMP, we also had that hazard mitigation plan. We got pretty valuable feedback from FEMA and the Colorado Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management that the only holdup we had was that it wasn't in the hazard mitigation plan. I did communicate with the county yesterday that this is what we were going for, and for them, it's critical backup generators on the eastern side of the county, where the only backup generators that currently exist that could be accessible are at our cell tower. So this is something that is beneficial to them, and so they put it in their hazard mitigation plan. So we're asking to be able to apply for that FEMA BRIC grant again. And we'll collect all of the letters of support that we'll need from emergency management, from county commissioners, and get that over to FEMA.
And you feel like the deadlines are doable?
July, so I'm trying to,
Well, there's intermediate deadlines.
yes. So I think we can.
What's the town's portion of the borough cost?
I will have to look at that. Ours would be 25% of the final cost, so that comes out to just around 260,000 instead of $1 million and change.
Other comments, questions from the trustees? Mayor Pro Tem Stelter, any comments?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, hang on one second. I just want to make sure, anybody in the audience want to speak on this? Okay, seeing none, go ahead with your motion.
I'd like to propose a motion that the Board of Trustees authorize the town administrator to submit an application to FEMA's Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities BRIC Grant Program to the purchase and installation of backup generators for the water treatment plant, the wastewater treatment plant, and the town hall and police department.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that
Aye.
passes unanimously, thank you. Arbor Day is the next issue, and it's been established for April 24th?
Correct.
Yes. And we have the proclamation in here, and that proclamation wouldn't be signed until it's Arbor Day. Do you have any more information on, and that is a Friday, do you know if Public Works is planting a tree?
Yes, I'm surprised Nikki is still on. She is sick, and so I appreciate her being on. While we're talking about this. But I think they've chosen a red maple. Is that right, Nikki?
We did. There are 3 different nurseries that have them in stock. We're just trying to get the largest one that we can. That way it's more established. So that's kind of where we're at. We have to go look at them, so that takes a little bit of time.
And where were you gonna plant it?
We picked Apple Valley. There is a spot just east of the parking lot that gets a lot of sun, and we struggle keeping grass growing, that we thought would be a good spot for that, for some shade.
So if you agree to this, obviously the tree is well within my approval authority, but we want to start coordinating with schools to say, hey, look, we're going to do this tree planting on Friday, the 24th, and see if we, invite classes to attend.
So you need a motion just to be in agreement with Arbor Day on the 24th?
Yes, please.
Okay. Somebody want to make that motion?
I move that the town goes forward with. I'm sorry, I don't have.
Hang on,
Somebody
hang on.
read it.
Did anybody want to speak on Arbor Day? Sorry. Okay, sorry.
Is there verbiage there?
No.
Is my, oh. To do.
Just-
Can I, oh.
Go ahead, Nick. I'm
Just
sorry.
one thing is, I think we agreed that we would plant the tree the day before and have the event of Arbor Day, just to make that clear. It won't be a watching Public Works put a tree in the ground. It's more of the day of and the proclamation and celebrating that way.
We just need to approve going forward with the proclamation, basically.
You have to plan.
Okay. I move that the town goes forward with the plan for implementing Arbor Day and signing the proclamation.
I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Aye.
All right, and the last one is strictly informational from me. I want to give the rest of the story on the letter we sent. Oh,
You have 2 minutes. You think you can do it in 2 minutes?
oh, yes, I can do it in 2 minutes.
Okay.
We sent that letter March 24th to the BLM asking them to remove 2 parcels from the lease sale. Well, I did their work for them. They improved their package of information on those 2 parcels, and based on our letter, and they were put into the sale, and they both sold to SG Interests, who is doing most of the drilling up valley. So I just want to let you know, that they still put it in and we can do a, what's it called? An appeal, but I am not suggesting we appeal this. I think now it's just a matter of keeping an eye on what happens with those two leases. They have 10 years, according to the BLM, to exercise their right to drill. So it's strictly informational. I wanted you all to hear the rest of the story. And with that,
Wait, was there an STR thing?
no, I don't think there is, I don't think there's any STR. Wait, I know, hang on one second. If there is, we need to extend the meeting. Did you have a report?
Well, I have a question about it.
Hang on one second.
There was a conflict.
Okay, hang on. Let's extend the meeting. 10
That we
minutes.
extend the meeting for 10 minutes.
Oh, second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, go
Aye.
ahead. Thank you.
Okay, so this was just brought up today in regards to, wait for a second, for a citizen initiated petition. And everything that we work on kind of got put aside because now that this is here, it conflicts with common grounds plan.
And what are you referring to?
So for this is for ad hoc, for short term.
I know, but what just came up today?
So this is not what came up today. It was a conversation that was brought up today that was presented yesterday, April 13th, 2026. And
Point of order, this wasn't agendized.
The STR report is ad hoc short-term rentals committee.
But the subject being discussed right now is not on the STR report, nor is it on the agenda.
then we're going to put on the agenda for the next meeting.
Well, do you have anything to report from the committee meeting that you had?
No,
That's your
no,
point,
no.
correct? Mayor
Unless
Pro Tem?
Mr. Stelzer has something to say.
Mayor Pro Tem, did you have anything you wanted to report from the previous short-term rental committee meeting?
Just that we affirmed that we'll have the facilitator at the next meeting, which is next week. And the facilitator will take over the running of the meeting. And that's pretty much the business we got done. There was some discussion of the Common Ground initiative. And I also reminded the STR committee that we are not writing an ordinance in the STR committee. We are forwarding recommendations to the town council, and I will be at that meeting, but I will attend only by Zoom. I will not be back in town by then.
Okay. I think we're at 9:32. Can we, hang on. Do we want to extend it? You have a question, but
Yes.
but I'm wondering if you just want to ask your question after the meeting's over.
No.
Does it need to be in public?
Yes.
Okay, we need to extend the, wait, 5 minutes?
No,
Okay.
no,
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Marty. Go ahead.
It's been a long meeting. Okay, here's my question.
Give us your name.
Marty Derman, Paonia, thank you. Is there a contract? Is there an agreement? Is it going to be signed by that meeting? Because that was the hang up on the last meeting, is that the facilitator attended and there was no agreement. And Stefan took notes on what they wanted the agreement. And I'm just wanting to make sure that there is an agreement in place for the next meeting.
Thank you. Is that something you want to answer? Okay.
The hope is that this week he'll get an agreement, he'll sign it, and we'll be ready to go next week.
I sure hope so.
So
Okay, yes, Jake. Okay.
I have several things to present, but in light of the late evening and just it's been kind of a rough night for everybody. I just have something that I really feel like needs to be corrected. This is from, all of these from the High Country Spotlight, which Marty does a great job on, but between March 17th and March 25th. These are 3 public comments. 2 of them are from council people running for reelection. And here's what is said. The number of STRs has doubled since the vote to repeal the ordinance. That was Rick Stelter in a High Country Shopper interview, March 25th, 2026. Councilman Lucy Hunter said, it is also notable that STRs in the town of Paonia have increased from 38 when the previous ordinance was originally passed late in 2024 and are now up to 72, representing
Order.
representing 10% of our existing housing stock. That was
Point of
her
order.
recorded March
Mayor Pro Tem?
18th, 2020.
Hang on 1 second.
This is public comment on an item not on the agenda. This is the time for that is over.
We're talking about.
We're still on the
STRs.
STR committee.
The STR committee report, yes,
Right.
not a response to article in the High Country Shopper.
This is important and it's about STRs and.
We've heard this at the STR meeting at numerous occasions, and it's time for this to be over. So thank
realize
you.
this is uncomfortable. When noted.
So Mayor, we have a point of order. Do we have to have a vote as to whether we want it to constitute a point of order?
Is this something you could bring to public comment at the beginning of the next meeting? It doesn't have to be on the agenda.
It was on the agenda is the reason I didn't bring it up when Mayor asked for comments that's not items that are not on the agenda. I hope you understand why.
Because you assumed you could speak because of the
Yes.
Yes. Rental committee, yes.
Sam says no vote.
Okay, no vote. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna let you continue.
Thank you. When noted that in the year since 2024, ordinance was repealed by voters, the town's total of 35 to 40 STRs has increased to 72. Those are 3 public statements, all in 2 weeks' time, that unfortunately, I believe they are categorically false. It appears to be a coordinated and misleading strategic campaign to negatively discredit the vote of the citizens and undermining short-term rentals and their property values. We
You know
presented.
what? I'm gonna ask you to not be critical. You're being, just be factual.
This is
This is-
absolutely factual, and it's.
No, it's your opinion. So
No,
please-
no, Paige.
No, it's your opinion what people are saying. You think they're doing it nefariously, and that's probably what's not appropriate. Please continue your comments on fact. Don't cast aspersions on people
Let me
making.
tell you the facts and then let you decide. Okay?
You have not much left.
I
Please
knew
go
it
ahead.
was not intuitively true. We have 3 uncollaborated sources that give us, one was done by a local citizen that has a computer program that the data goes down to a granular level that will tell you URLs, average nightly rate, number of reviews. We have addresses, we have maps. We came up with 23 to 28. We presented the 28, which is so different than what our administrator and our 2 council people put out there publicly. Now, I'm trying to do this the right way. I don't put this stuff on social media, but this could have been another one of these issues floating out there about statements that are not backed up. We asked Stefan where he got the information. He said it was Granicus software. I hope, and I'm asking the council not to purchase another policing, surveilling, type of software when we have some local people that can produce this in 30 minutes, or people common ground that did the actual legwork to talk to every STR owner. And actually it went from 28 to 27 because one owner told us they were taking them down. 27 is a far cry from 72, but now publicly it's out there with their statements.
Okay, right. Sounds like a topic for the committee. Thank you. Okay. We have 2 minutes left. Yes, I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you. And everybody, actually, we don't have to have a motion to adjourn as I understand it through. So did everybody sign that? Yes, you did.
No, I.
Oh, but I'll give it to you with all the.